There we go.
All right, Nicola Torelli.
I'm
Amazing
here.
name.
I'm here.
That's a
Glad,
great
honored
name.
to be here, man. Really honored.
Amazing. So is English is your second language, correct?
Second language. Yeah. Yeah, it's the second I learned.
What is your first language?
Italian.
Italian.
Even though right now, because I live in Spain, my Italian is losing is losing a bit. So sometimes and because I speak Spanish most of the time, and Spanish and Italian are very similar. So sometimes I start putting Spanish words into the Italian, and yeah. Because my girlfriend, she's from Germany and we met in English.
Oh,
So we
wow.
speak English between us. And then when I
Right.
go out, I speak a lot of Spanish. So my Italian is not much practice, which
Oh,
would have never thought that. And it's
that's
crazy to me, but it's happening. I gotta keep practicing it.
it's so impressive as someone who only speaks one language. How many
Yeah.
do you speak?
Well, now three, but yeah, it's like if you told me I was gonna have trouble speaking Italian some years ago, I would have said like that's not possible. But right now, it's like a muscle, like use it or lose it.
Right. Can we hear a little bit?
Sì, posso parlare italiano. E, stavo dicendo che un po' che non lo so parlare più tanto bene. And
Wow.
the thing is that I didn't even speak Italian properly that well because growing up I always spoke dialect. So
Oh, dialect,
yeah, like a dialect. So
like
it's
slang.
a little bit slang kind of,
Yeah.
like from my area. And so, like to speak proper correct Italian, it's always been like a bit of a yes, something that I never really got very used to. It always felt a bit weird to me. And so, yeah, now even more.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You're a very interesting figure in rollerblading.
Uh,
You
uh,
I couldn't think of another person who has had so much impact who doesn't have like a grinding background.
mm. Maybe, who doesn't have a good? Because I was going to say Greg Mirzoyan, but he does have a grinding background.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, there's people like Bill Stoppard.
Hmm.
There's different influencers, but I couldn't think of anyone who really is like your skating is really influential. Like you as a skater are really marketable and you don't have a grinding background. Like there's slalom skaters, right, that are within that industry, maybe
Hmm.
well known and stuff. But I wouldn't even say that you're not aggressive because I do think you are aggressive. You jump around,
Mm.
you do tricks, you do performance based.
Yeah, I just don't
Don't
grind
have
because
the
I can't,
grinding.
because my skates don't really do it. So otherwise, I probably would have jumped into it. I think it's down to the limit of the equipment. And like you could argue that you can still grind with any skate. Just look at Danny Aldridge or Sam Crofts or even you guys. Like you just grind with anything you got. But yeah, I think to me, to get there, I would need to go through a good time of just normal aggressive equipment, learn, feel comfortable, and then maybe transfer it into my skating with
Yeah.
just the usual the big wheels.
But I think that's what makes you so special is that
Mm.
because the rest of us are so preoccupied with
Mm.
grinding, like, for a lot of aggressive skaters, we're so obsessed
Mm.
with grinding. It's very refreshing for someone to come
Mm.
along who doesn't have that obsession.
Mm.
And you can see it in the way that you skate is like it's very I don't know, for a lot of aggressive skaters, the rolling is almost like an afterthought. It's like backwards. It's like,
Gotcha. I understand. Yeah. For me, the wheels is where I find pleasure, like just exploring the different ways I can, touch the ground, let's say, or the obstacle, whatever. Like for me, the fun part is interacting with the wheels. And I
it looks
guess,
like you're having a lot of fun.
yeah, most of the times, yes.
It looks like
But
it looks like I was watching a bunch of edits of you this morning, and it like being you on skates looks like fun as shit.
uh, I have a lot of fun. That's why I keep doing it, and that's why like
Right.
I since I restarted what was like 9 years ago, I spent a lot of time skating, and I spent a lot of time skating. That's pretty much the first activity. Um,
So sorry, you started, you said 10 years ago?
like nine. I used to
Well,
have skates when I was a kid,
yeah.
but nothing really. Like I learned to skate as a kid, and I learned to maybe jump some steps and do like a 360 or jump and tap my skates. But yeah, that was it pretty much. And I didn't even know I could skate backwards. I didn't know skating backwards was a thing until I restarted 9 years ago.
Whoa.
And then the first guy, like I put the skates. This is when I moved to London, and I put the skates and I go for a ride randomly in the neighborhood, in the outskirts of London, and like this is destiny because I skate like from a just random neighborhood. I skate until like 15 kilometers until a mall, and inside the mall, the coincidence is that it was full of skaters skating, and there was this guy that I ended up knowing who was practicing slalom that I had never seen before. And so I saw him like just doing crazy stuff on the cones. I was like, hey man,
Yeah.
just teach me something, anything. And he was like, oh, maybe you can try to go backwards and just cross. I was like, wow. And I guess that was the beginning. That was the
Wow.
first day I put on skates in London, and I always think like, what is the coincidence? Because I just moved to London, so I didn't even know where I was. So I put the skates from where I live, and I just skate to the, let's say, the biggest neighborhood, let's say,
Yeah.
and I see this mall open. I enter, full of skaters. And so I don't know. I guess it was meant to be.
Just pure coincidence, just pure
Yeah, yeah, pure coincidence, man.
the
Like,
universe just like we
yeah,
need Nicola on
yeah,
skates. We need to give him some inspiration.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Because
Gotta be something like
I
that.
see you like on skates, and I'm like, if what would this like if this guy never discovered rollerblading? What a shame!
Mm,
What a tragedy that would be.
yeah. Like skating did a lot of good to me. Um, Took me out of like it put me in the lane of first looking after myself, just a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
Because the way I grow up, I have a solid family and background, but like the surrounding where I grow up, it was very easy for me to just go in the wrong lane, and many times I kind of like stepped, and but like skating definitely just put me in the best track I could think of, compared
Yeah.
like looking back, I'm like, damn, like because now everything I do it's for my health because I want to skate, and I just want to skate better, and I want to skate long. Well, I just want to
I
skate as long as possible, so now all my well, so I try my best, so my actions are directed that way. Where before it wasn't, you are like just a bit lost, and before skating, when I moved to London, for me, it was very standard every Saturday, go to the club, get drunk, maybe even Friday. That was my usual. And, just smoking, drinking, like just like a lot of people do, like just
Right.
waiting for the weekend to kind of like get drunk and do that type of stuff. And
It's fun.
I don't know. Now I prefer skating. Like for me now it's more fun to
Yeah.
skate, and I really remember the moment where this shifted. It was like so I'd started skating, and then but I still used to go to the club in the weekend whenever I could. Um, and then I remember, but at the same time, I had found like a little group of people to skate in the streets. There was this couple, and they always had a speaker, and they like to dance. And we still like maybe had a few drinks here and there, and like a smoke. So there was still a bit of substance in there, which maybe as a transition, it kind of helped somehow. Um, but um, but yeah, we were out in the streets and just having fun on skates. And I remember, um, yeah, that one night I'm like, "Ah, I feel like I would rather go skate tonight." And then I started questioning me, like, "Oh, is this normal? Am I alright? Or why am I feeling like this?" Because I gave it, because for me it was so sacred, the fact of like going to the club and just getting drunk and doing that. So yeah, just and then after that, I went to skate and I enjoyed, and I was like, fuck, I really can have fun a different way. And then gradually I just started going always to skate, and then through the years removed all the alcohol, the weed, the smoking, the everything. So right now I'm pretty clean.
Love it. Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
People need adventure in their life.
yeah. I
And
guess.
if they don't have adventure, then they'll get it just through drinking, going to the club. Like that's like their
Yeah,
release. That's where they have fun.
yeah,
They don't discover something else that is
hmm,
more fun than that,
yeah,
and they'll just continue to do it, or it'll be very difficult for them to give that up.
yeah.
It's
It's
I've felt a similar thing in my life where I'm very content living a very boring life outside
hmm,
of skating because I
hmm,
have that that place where I can feel such excitement and adventure
hmm,
and risk taking and adrenaline and movement
yeah,
and all of that stuff that when I like in the rest of my life, I don't need to go party. I don't need to
yeah,
go like
yeah,
gamble or like
yeah,
do anything that's like negative. I'm like, whatever, I can just be really boring and I'm perfectly content with
yeah,
that. And that's like a
yeah,
superpower because so many people like they need that release.
yeah,
They work all week and then they're like, oh, I need to just like cut loose. I need to have a drink or gamble or go get a prostitute or something. You know,
yeah,
I'm just like,
yeah, yeah, 100%. And for myself, I really lived the transition in a relatively short time, so I could really see just the energy just starting to channel it all in a different way. And it's definitely I try to not say what's better and what not, but when something is healthier, then I believe it's better, and this feels way healthier for me.
definitely. Yeah.
So
So 10 years, like that's not a long time. You seem to have gotten really good in a short period of time. Like, why do you think? Did you have a
um,
background in
so
sports?
yeah, yeah. So you said what I would not be doing if I wouldn't skate. Possibly, before I had restarted, if somebody asked me what's the best feeling thing for you, I would have answered snowboarding.
Oh,
So even though I only went a week or sometimes a weekend or sometimes maybe a couple of weeks a year, Yeah, my with my family we went since I was like 7.
Yeah.
And so pretty much every winter used to go and snowboard, and I used to love it since that age. And I remember back then I was just one of the few kids. There was not many kids on a snowboard, so I was like kind of proud, to be the only one. I was like just this small with big board and
Right.
y-
Everyone else was skiing.
yeah, yeah, at least in Italy.
Did you
Uh,
ever ski?
I think the year before, when I was like 6, I tried 1 year, and then a couple of years ago, I tried again to ski.
Yeah.
Because then I was like, oh shit, I've been skating all these years now. I need to see what skiing feels like, and
Mm.
yeah, I loved it. Um,
Yeah.
so now I think like when I go back, I'll try to just do both. Maybe one day snowboarding, one day skiing. But I
Interesting.
need a ski. I need to rent them. Where the snowboard, I got my board, so
Yeah.
I'll see in
Did you
between.
ever play hockey or anything?
No.
But I guess
Mm.
you had that background, like you did skate a little bit as a kid, and that probably
Yeah,
helped
yeah.
just
And then
feeling
football.
comfortable on skates.
I played football all like from 5 to 20, like 15
Okay.
years. Like always played football in a club. So
Yeah.
like weekly trainings and then the game in the weekend.
That's a
Um,
lot of football coordination.
yeah,
Soccer
yeah,
players
like
are really good with their legs and their feet. Like they're,
yeah. And my thing's always been like maybe dribbling and yeah, just decent control, let's say, with the ball. Like I wasn't the best at maybe scoring or shooting, but like just keeping the ball around and running, and it just gives you a basic athletic, mm, you know, a base.
oh, for sure. Yeah,
So I think,
Dribbling's insane for the coordination of your legs and
yeah,
feet.
just keeping up the ball.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a lot of
so
crossover, like
yeah,
skating.
yeah, definitely. A lot of
Yeah.
times I imagine myself to balance on one foot while I skate. Imagine you gotta, there's a ball coming from the in the air, and you gotta like lift your leg up, ready to stop it. And
Right.
now suddenly you're balancing yourself
Oh
on
yeah.
the leg, and now there's the hip motion where you kind of like open and close.
Yeah.
And I think that's also like super important in skating.
Oh, for sure. And
So
responding like really quickly, like without thinking about it.
yeah,
Like it
quick
becomes
feet,
instinct and
quick feet
yeah.
as well. Like especially now that I teach a lot of people, I can see the difference of having done a sort of like sport that gets you kind of like quick on your feet and able to, I don't know, hop, change
Yeah.
direction and stuff like that. It's really key. I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of key stuff, of course, that we should learn as kids, but yeah, I'm glad that even though it's not as my club was very like it wasn't very professional. It was meant to be, but the coach and all these people were like a bit yeah,
It was
no,
fun.
yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was fun. um but yeah, it
So
was.
you mentioned you teach skating.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you do like a certification or did you just start doing that?
So I kind of got pushed to do it when I
Yeah.
was in London, and just the year after I started, this guy that I met, his name is Herman, and he's from Spain, but he lives in London. I got friend with him, and he is the first one who introduced me to free skate. So to like slides and going around the city and kind of like skating fast. He was the first one that I ever seen sliding. And so I got friend with him pretty soon after I started, because I met him at one of those Friday night skate, which I kind of like look for after a month or two that I was in London. And then I met him. He took me around, and he had just started his skating school. He was on his own back then. Is I don't know if you may have seen something on the internet. Is the name is London Skate Life.
Yeah.
They've got a skate school.
Nice.
And so, yeah, back then it was him alone, and he was like, "Oh, you can teach, you can teach." And I was like, "Man, how can I teach? I just started, like I cannot teach." And he was like, "Oh, but like beginners, they don't need much. Sometimes they, which I didn't really agree because I didn't feel confident. But then I remember one day I kind of like taught a friend something, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I actually taught her very basic things. So maybe I can, maybe this I can teach to other people. And so I said, like, God, you know what? Let me try. Let me give it a shot. Let me try to teach a lesson, and then yeah, I kind of like started, and now looking back at the way I was teaching, I'm like, but, I guess like you got to start somewhere.
Right.
And it helped me a lot to grow myself, because then I
Definitely.
that's where I when I started to realize all the flaws,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to teach somebody something, and I realize I'm the first one to have that problem, and
Right.
this somehow keeps happening, even though in a smaller form,
Right.
but
It
I
probably
think
helps you correct a lot of your bad habits
yeah,
because
yeah,
you're like, oh, well, I do it this way, which isn't the best way to teach it. So I should probably do it the way that I
yeah,
would teach it. It makes more sense that
yeah.
way. So are you teaching like complete beginners?
Anyone.
Anyone?
Yeah, any level, like, but obviously, like, I get I'd say intermediate is the people that I get the most, and then I get like sometimes beginners, but somehow beginners are a bit intimidated to come to my lessons because they think that because I skate the way I skate that they are not good enough. But
Right.
I need to work a bit more on pushing the message that it's my lessons are completely like they're super easy. Like I break down everything so that anyone can learn at any level. But
Right.
yeah, it's a bit the vibe. It seems to be this. Um, and yeah, it's cool. I do group lessons every week. This I've been doing for the last year and a half. And then some private lessons. When I was in London, I was mainly doing private lessons because then I was with this London Skate Life. I was with them, with him for the first few years, but then we had very different views on how to do things,
Yeah.
and we just went separate ways. And then I started to do just private lessons, and it was just like a bit of a people who knew me, they came, but for some reason I never really went fully into advertising myself as an instructor because I don't know. I always like to think of myself as like a student first, and I don't want to. I probably shouldn't feel like this, but I still kind of struggle to come out as like, oh, I teach skating. I still haven't got the confidence.
Like to define yourself as an expert.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'm like, oh, I can share this, I can teach you this, but yeah, I don't know. If people gotta see me in a way, I like people to see me as a student, somebody who keeps learning
Right.
and share what he knows. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand that. It's difficult for me to teach because the way I see skating is it's kind of like a thing that you need to feel and you need to figure out what works best for you. And it's hard for me to accept that there's a right way to do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. 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 No,
and I'm
it's
very humble in the ways that I have learned things that
mhm.
for me to say, no, you should do it the way I do it
Mhm.
doesn't really make sense for me.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's why what I do is I always say, like, look, this is what worked for me.
Right.
I used to do that mistake. Well, even there, I try to not say it's a mistake. I always say, like, there's action and consequences. So now,
Right.
depending on what is your goal, these are what I believe the best. actions in order to get you to that goal that I know. Maybe in a month I'll figure out a better way, and I'm happy to kind of like update it. I don't. I never think that, oh, this is the way and it will be forever. Like,
Right.
this is so far what I found out works. Um, and that's what I make sure that people understand from me. Because a lot of times it already happened. Like people that I followed through the years, um, after a couple of years, I'm like, oh, I know that time I taught you this to do this, but actually, I believe right now there's a better way. And like people usually are cool with it and like, oh, I appreciate it. Makes sense. And yeah.
Right. No, I can totally relate. There's things that I have felt so strongly as like, okay, this is fact, previously, and then a couple years later, I'll totally change my mind on it. Like I used to think that you had to have like a rocker frame.
Hmm.
I used to think like that was like
Interesting.
necessity. But like if you're skating anything bigger than 80 mil, it's got to be rockered,
Yeah.
or else you can't do the stuff that
Yeah.
want to do. Um,
Same. And especially with equipment, like
right,
at the beginning, I thought like, oh, you need a carbon skate or you need
right,
certain things.
yeah,
And I think like, yeah, through the years, I definitely started to realize how, in the end, it goes down to the skill the most, and equipment helps for sure, but it's not like, you know, uh, in what's the word? We are complete necessary.
right. It's not a
Not the only
necessity,
way. Yeah.
right? There's many different ways, and like, yeah,
And for
it,
me, Nick Lomax was the best person to teach me this because skating with him, he sometimes he seems like he doesn't even know what skates he's got on, but he'll just shred them the same way, and he always shows that doesn't matter what wheels, what I always see him just giving his best and just skating in the way he knows. And he always told me like a good workman never blame his tools. And I'm
right.
like, I don't know that I really like that one.
It's
It's challenging.
definitely it's definitely a good quality to be able to like ignore what's on your feet, like just to skate and not focus too
Hmm.
much on it. Because people do get too focused on the gear
Hmm.
and they start to think like, oh, I can't do certain movements because my gear isn't correct. And
Yeah,
it's
I've been
definitely
there.
good. It's healthier just to skate and not focus. But I wanted to go back to the rockered
Yeah,
example because you recently made a frame you were involved with the creation of the Kaiser Edge, right?
yeah. So
So that's
um,
not a rockered frame.
no,
That was actually one
that
of the things that kind of changed my perspective a little bit because that was the first flat frame I had tried in a long time. And I
okay.
loved it. Like I really enjoyed that frame. And I was surprised at how much I liked it because it's flat.
Yeah.
Mm. But it kind of brought me back to this. It, it, it made me feel at home in my skates in a
Mhm.
weird way. It was like returning to how things felt, before I got so into rockered frames.
What was the thing you skated before the rocker? What did you skate?
I've always skated like a rockered uh, wizard frame or a rockered, uh, like even compass frames. They allow you to customize your rocker, and I'll skate them with a rocker. Pretty much anything that I was skating that was over 80 mil was always rockered. I just had it in my head like it has to be rockered.
But how about like 80 millimeters? Did you have any flat frame 80 millimeters in the past?
No, no,
No.
I don't think so. Because like I had skated flat for aggressive,
Okay.
right? Like smaller wheels.
Like
flat.
62 or something like that.
Yeah. And then when I started, when I started
How about the
experimenting with,
Aeon?
when I started experimenting, well, I guess, yeah, Aeons are flat, right?
Yeah.
But even, it's funny, I think of that as like an aggressive
Mm.
skate. But when
Yeah.
I started skating big wheels, like I started in like slalom skates,
With the
super
slalom rocker.
crazy, crazy
Yeah.
rocker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I was like, in my head, I was like, okay, you have to have a rocker if it's a big frame, or else
yeah.
it'll feel like skis.
Yeah, yeah. I thought the same. Like, um, and but obviously, like I started with 80 millimeters flat. Well, no. So this the way it really went. When I got back, I thought I wanted to do aggressive because that's the only thing I knew.
Right.
I didn't know free skate existed, but I knew aggressive existed. So I bought some Razors Genesis, and with the anti-rocker, and I was trying just a few grinds like that. But then in London, and these skates I bought them just before going to London, like maybe a year before moving to London, and I skated maybe once a month in I wouldn't even call it a skate park. It's like a ring with a box, fun box. This is back in Italy. I used to go with a friend that I did breakdancing as a kid for a few years, and he also was like, "Oh, I wanna try skating again as well," because he used to do it also as a kid, and so we were going like maybe once every whatever, very random times, and I would just try like maybe a Soul, a Mizu, or just this very unaware of the skating world or anything. And then after a short while, I moved to London, and I'm like, okay, I want to be able to skate around the city here. And so I somehow got to think I will need bigger wheels, and I saw that's maybe the time that I started to go online and have a look through the shops and maybe some forums or stuff like that. And I saw there was these power blading frames, so I got like some Kaiser Advanced Level 2, something like that. 76 with a little groove. And and then I got those. And just by the time I started skating, I already discovered free skating. And so I quickly transitioned to a ground control frame, 80 millimeter flat.
Nice.
And I bought some Seba CJ
Yeah.
carbon. So that was like my setup. And then that's when I started to like get, skate more, obviously. And then I was starting to explore the internet, and I found your videos. And I think you guys were skating the K2R100, the big.
Probably like K2s with like with a NR 100 frame.
No, the K2, was it called R100, no? It's the K2 frame, the
Oh yeah,
black
Joey
one.
skated that a little bit.
Or maybe,
Yep.
yeah, maybe Joy.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and so obviously I see that, and I start discovering the wizard, and I'm like, wow, this looks even more like skiing. That was like a bit the feeling for me that I was looking for from skating. And so obviously, like, I was not ready to buy a wizard frame because that was crazy. Like back then, I was like, oh no, that's crazy expensive. I'll never buy that. So I bought the K2R100, and
Nice.
that's when I started to maybe experiment with wizard, but I couldn't really do it. I didn't understand it. So I
Right.
was maybe trying something, and then yeah, I think I went into the three wheels, and I started understanding wizard moves when I was on 3125s. So
Really
that's when I started to understand like the three turn and the kind of like edge. And so that was a flat frame, and at that right time, I don't know if you remember Min Lehammer.
No.
Well, it's this guy who used to live in, I think he's German, Asian, but German. Um, and he used to live in Barcelona. And Ricardo Lino made a video. I mean, if you haven't seen it, you gotta watch it. You
Okay.
just search Min, Minh, and like skating, and you'll find it.
Minh.
Yeah. Min
Okay.
Le, yeah, and
Yeah.
he was skating let's say wizard style with 3 1 2 5s, and so for me that was like, and
Well,
his control is phenomenal. He's like top three best skaters, best big wheel skaters I've ever seen.
okay.
Um,
Yeah. Okay. I remember this guy.
yeah,
Totally.
and so
Yeah, that's
like
crazy what he's doing with the three. I've never skated a 125.
yeah, and so like seeing him was like okay, so it made me think already. So you don't really need a rocker, like
Right.
you can do it just with the edge. But
Right.
then after that, I finally bought some wizard frames and got into the whole wizard rockering, and then eventually uh, got skate sent by Leon because I got in contact with him, and I was like, hey man, I'll be really happy to somehow just work with you or skate your skates because I was a big fan of what he was doing, and then I got to try all the. Still, am a big fan, obviously, and then I got to try the all the wizard frames and got a bit deep in the rocker, let's say, and the 5 wheels that blew my mind. I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, but just to go back, that like I knew from the beginning that it was not essential
Right.
to. And actually, that this is a bit the main point. I remember that when I was learning, for me, the thing that really made me understand the change of edge was to have a flat frame, because I couldn't really make the turn right unless I changed the edge. And I remember feeling it like a bit more snappy, like that I go in and until I get there, it feels like very stable. And then when I get there, pam, I can change edge. And, although
You
it
mean with
may
a
be a bit,
flat?
yeah, although it may,
Yeah.
it may be a bit more difficult, it feels kind of better when you do it right, because you
Right.
can
Right.
really feel the change of edge.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's that stability that
yeah, the
feels
stability on the
really good
turn.
on
Yeah,
with a flat frame.
yeah, yeah.
Everything feels really defined.
Yeah. And
It's
eventually, they get rockered anyway.
right.
So, but I feel like it's not the reason I made the edge frame flat, it was to give people who wanna obviously who buy it the experience of like getting in, from a flat frame into the rocker and perhaps trying the same moves as the rocker adapts to them.
Right.
And so, not so you kind of like have to work your way there.
Right. Work it in.
Yeah, and I believe this is somehow empowering, It might be a bit too much at the beginning. Obviously, like if you get a rocker, that's a bit the easy way. But sometimes that's a bit what for me happened is like when I skated for a long time, only rockered frames. At the time, I started to get into a bit of bad habits where I would start just to swivel the skate a bit, like turning the foot or doing forced movements in order to kind of like get there, just because
Right.
the rocker allowed me to do it. Where, with a flat frame, you can't really do that. So it kind of like forces you into a more correct technique, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought like, oh, that's cool. And also, I heard in aggressive is common to get a frame and then you kind of like have to make your groove at the beginning until it feels
Right.
right for you. And I was like, oh, that's a cool concept. And, making a flat frame marketed for wizard skaters can have like a similar yeah, just way of use, you know, like people,
idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
idea, yeah, like
And
okay,
even your pro skate is flat.
yeah, 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 I just thought it's neutral, you know, it's like
Right, right. It's just skate.
yeah, it's just a skate, and you know, it doesn't. If you want to skate around, perhaps you don't want to like you don't want a rocker because you just
Right.
want the stability and the speed. So you know, people who just want to skate around, they can enjoy it. And then if you want to get into the swivels and all this stuff, well, you can still do it. You just have to yeah, just use them a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed your narration at the beginning of one or our way
Hmm.
video. You
Appreciate it.
loved it how you're talking about how like everyone wants to put things into a category. People
And then
want
I
to
put
be
it
like,
into another category.
but like we are so obsessed with like I'm aggressive or I'm wizard
Yeah,
or I'm
yeah,
this or that. So I found that really refreshing to put yourself in a state where you try to like
yeah,
ignore all the categories and just skate, like
yeah,
do
yeah,
whatever the hell you want.
yeah. That was the message. I'm glad you got it because some people commented like, "Oh, you say all that and then you give other people another category, which is free skating." But the whole point was like the word free skating
Right.
means free, and the word free means free. So you know, I think that's not really a category. Well, it is,
Yeah, it's
but
not really a
it's a very
category.
broad category. You know, it's like
I don't interpret it as a category. It's like
yeah,
freestyle is
yeah,
supposed to be just
exactly.
like free of style, free of category,
Exactly,
free skate.
exactly,
Just yeah.
exactly, and I really like yeah, I really like the concept. I believe you know the equipment defines a bit the limits
Sometimes, yeah,
to
sometimes.
to most people,
Right,
not
right,
to you know to most people more, to other people less. Like I always take the example of Danny Aldridge because yeah, it's just amazing the way he skates with his skates and others, you know, like including you guys. But yeah, I'm like, of course, you know, like if you have a certain skate, it's gonna have some limits. But I believe, like in general, big wheels they are all very similar, and skates in general, you know, like just they have like the essence is the same.
right, right.
Yeah, I believe even like I've seen skateboarding evolving so much late. I mean, perhaps it was already like that for a while, but me in these last few years, I've seen like freestyle skateboarding starting to blend a lot more into street skateboarding, and like people starting to do like a lot of stuff that is more similar to I don't know, mushroom blade, like you know, mushroom
Right.
blading. What you guys just different stuff, you know. And that for me, like, I have a question for you, which is like, where do you guys get your inspiration from? I
Well,
mean, I talk to you guys because I you know I always see most of the times videos of you skating together and but yeah, like for me, it's mind blowing the amount of creativity that you guys have and it's just so inspiring all the time, you know. At the beginning for sure, but it keeps, you know. For me, it's your videos carry the most essential message, which is, you know, you can have fun with little
yeah,
when you're on your skates and yeah, it's so such an essential because you know when I go out, I'm like, oh, doesn't matter what I'll do, I'll find a way to just have fun, and that's of course also thanks to watching your skating because it's kind of like proof that you can. So yeah, my question is like, where do you guys get the?
well, thank you. Yeah, that's feels really good to hear. Um, I think I think we're products of our environment. Like we are in a very small town, so we don't have a ton of options in terms of like good street skating and stuff. So we're just making do with what we have. And I've always looked at it like there's a lot of skaters like that that don't live in a big city or don't have access to a lot of amazing skate spots, but there's still so much to explore with nothing. So I think just built into is like an ethos of making something out of nothing. And then over the years, just realizing how much is possible on skates. It's a little bit overwhelming because I want to kind of explore everything. And I don't
Yeah.
think that like one style of skating is better than the other. I want to try to explore as much of it as I can, even though I'm not the best at a certain thing. Um, you can, yeah, you can pull like a small element from one style into another style. I just see like this world of possibility. I think we're still yet to uncover everything. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like fishing, like we're just fishing for ideas and inspiration. And sometimes you don't really catch anything. You go
Hmm.
fishing and you put your pole in the water and you don't catch anything, but that's like a part of the process, right? But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I do
Sure,
believe there's big fish under the sea.
for
I just
sure.
want to continue, and it's just really fun. It's really fun to skate in a simple way, and it's fun to skate in a really creative way,
Hmm.
and to explore all of it. And a big part of my inspiration is just having somebody like Joey to like document, and I know he's going to do something really special with the footage, which is really inspiring to me. I'm like, because I really have a ton of respect for him. I think he's incredible at what he
Yeah,
does. So
yeah.
for me, I feel incredibly honored and lucky that I'm like this one guy that happens to live in this small town with him to film with him. It's just like a huge opportunity.
So you just get like into let's try something.
Yeah, and
It seems like I don't know, very play like that. That's the part that I love the most is that everything is very playful of your skating. At least you know the way it shows in video. Then I don't know about the way it's real in real life, but in video everything seems so playful, and that for me is yeah, it's just the main the most the yeah the most the thing that I appreciate the most. You
nice.
know.
I hope I can inspire people to play on
Yeah.
their skates. I try to
Yeah.
do things personally that like break rules.
Yeah. All right.
Like
Yeah.
I am cognizant of a lot of like obviously there are no rules, but I think there are a lot of fake rules that people
Yeah.
subscribe to. And I like to purposely do things that are like faux pas, like things that classically are looked down upon,
Uh-huh.
like spreading your legs. I want to like spread my legs
Yeah.
as much, like
Yeah.
do really wild things. I think the best tricks are when you do something that's like ugly or like frowned upon, but you do it in a dope way that's
Yeah.
undeniable.
100%.
That's
100%.
like my favorite. That's my favorite shit.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I can
So
see that. I feel like I got influenced somehow. Because I, for example, I got, when I started skating, whenever I saw people doing the eagle or the side surfing,
the crab, yeah,
yeah, crab. I was like, and I thought that I couldn't do it. I was like, my legs don't open that way,
yeah,
and I said I don't even want to do it.
right, right,
That's what I, or and that's until I used to live with a guy that was my flatmate for a few years from Italy, but living in London as well. And his special move was the crab, and he could really surf
yeah,
amazing, you know. And then whenever we were skating, I was like always pushing him, like, "Oh, you should bend your knees more when you do more jumps, do more this." And he was always like, "Oh, you do the crab then." And I was always like, "Oh man, but I don't want to learn that. That's not for me. I don't like that."
yeah.
and that's until I think, yeah, by teaching, you teach the transition and the transition from backward to forward
Yeah,
using
yeah,
that. And
right.
so I struggled a lot with that. And so I got to the point I was like, oh, fuck, maybe I should really learn this, because it seems like it's
Practical.
not, it seems functional.
Yeah,
And fucking hell, man, that was like the missing, one of the most important missing point in my skating back then. Because I was like, once I figured out, I was like, oh shit, that's how this is possible. That's how like a lot of things opened when I saw how important it is to be able to skate like that. And
totally.
a big journey. It took me years. Like I finally started getting more comfortable, and yeah, it definitely took some years because yeah, my flexibility like that was terrible. But yeah, now I love it, and I try to do it all the time in ways that I know I still look awkward, but I'm working on it. I'm like, one day it's gonna look cool. Just wait for it. Like, and uh, and yeah, or when I see there's this girl here in Barcelona, Anna Arroyo. She's got a background in ice figure skating, and now she skates inline skates. She skates for rollerblade, and she
Nice.
just does the big spread eagle like that,
Oh,
and
that's so sick.
yeah, I learned to appreciate it. I'm like, oh wow, that's really cool, and just the way the body moves in like artistic figure skating
Uh,
style. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'd love to just. I feel like sometimes I do it a little bit, but I don't go fully in. But I love to kind of take a little bit of that and mix it with just some other stuff. I feel like it can be something like R&B. You
yeah,
have like a bit more of a melodic part, and then you get a bit more into um, rap.
right,
Um,
right. Combining it.
yeah, combining it, or yeah, I think that's where the beauty is in contrast a lot. At least where I find it a lot in contrast.
Definitely. I think that like there was a big push away from certain styles of skating, like to separate ourselves. Like aggressive was like, well, we're not
Mhm.
fitness, we're not figure skating. Because
Mm.
like people would clown on figure skating. And there's
Mm.
so much to be learned though from figure skating. And if
Oh,
we
yeah,
could like draw influence and incorporate some of their movements, I mean, why not? It might lead to some really interesting places.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
From all disciplines, I believe, especially these that are, very deep.
yeah,
Because
you said
figure
you used
skating,
to break dance a little bit.
yeah, a little bit. I did a few years as a kid. When I got into hip hop as a culture when I was like 10, 11, and that's when I started breakdancing right away for a few years. And then, um,
I can definitely see some of that influence in your skating.
yeah, yeah, it's still there. Sometimes I try to do whatever, it's just, dust off whatever I remember from back then. I don't have a deep bag. I just know a few things, but I try to keep them there, like don't lose them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, if I wouldn't skate, I'd probably get back into that.
yeah,
Because it's something I find it so beautiful that you just need your body and
right,
you need no equipment,
right.
maybe music.
Have you done any other form of dance?
No,
Not
maybe
like,
a year before breakdancing, I did hip hop, but that's very similar.
yeah,
And then I'll just shower dancing or living room dancing or
yeah, yeah.
club dancing.
I bet you
uh,
shred the club. Like, are you a good dancer?
But back then, I used to need to get drunk, before I really
Right,
got
right.
I really got loose. Where now, thanks to skating, I learn, to yeah, just like now I'll dance with or without my skates, and definitely don't need alcohol or anything. And I just like since I started skating, I also learned to dance with, just for the sake of doing it, and
Right.
enjoying it, and not have any sort of like feel embarrassed, you know. I
It's
mean,
very healthy.
yeah. But you know that there possibly are limits, you know. Um,
It's a
but yeah,
healthy exercise. Like dancing is healthy in terms of like teaching yourself to cut loose,
yeah.
teaching yourself to ignore the part of your brain that's telling you like stop doing that, you look stupid. Like
Hmm.
just to feel the music and just
Yeah,
move in a
yeah,
way that feels good. Uh,
yeah.
I
Simple
hope,
things help.
sorry.
Simple thing, like for me, the important part to get there was understanding that I didn't have to do any crazy thing or any high level.
Right.
I just like if you just
Yeah.
start doing that to the music, it feels good, and that's good enough, you know. Like you don't need
Right.
to, and
You
then it
don't have,
comes natural most of the times, you know. Then you start
yeah.
just moving, but like taking away the thought that you need to meet whatever expectation of I don't know,
Right.
dancing in a certain way or doing this. I think that's the main with anything, you know, like just enjoy the first step because probably we can do most first steps ever in the world available, and
Yeah.
just enjoy that and just take it from there.
Right. There's a
So
lot
yeah,
of similarities with skating.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like if you can just like get into like a flow of just do something simple that feels good to you and then
Yeah,
build upon that
yeah.
and
That's
ignore like when you're skating because you I don't want to glaze you up too much, but like you're very natural, you're very stylish. It looks like you're having a really good time. But do you ever go
thank you.
skating and struggle to like get into a flow, or do you struggle mentally like oh, I'm not feeling it today, or did you ever have bad sessions?
I used to, I used to, but it's this concept. It's like I learned to because I remember, for example, back then I used to remember I need to smoke weed to kind of like get in the zone and like get in the tunnel vision. Don't I this way I don't listen to anything else. I just get hypersensitive in my body, and that was like kind of like my way to get into it.
Yeah,
Where now I just practice simple stuff. I just do couple simple moves or positions. Might be even just like I don't know, just taking a turn on one foot, but make sure it feels good, you know, because I likely practiced it in a way that feels good, and I know that if I do those moves, I'm gonna feel good, and then I just take it from there,
right,
and this works, and just you know, I get the more I practice, the more I have plenty of things that I enjoy doing, and um, if I take the time to do this process, then you know I'll enjoy. If I get somewhere and I'm like, oh, I skip the process, then maybe it won't start. I won't feel that great, and you know things won't work. But if I go through the process of just doing stuff that I know I enjoy and it's simple enough, you know, to be able to get me there. It's not something complicated that I will need to try like fail.
right.
You don't want to start that by failing, you know, because if you start failing, you start in that mode and you're already fighting. But if you start with something simple, then it's already like, oh, I can do it. Oh, it feels good. And then you just keep going, and then maybe you get into the challenging thing, but then your body is already kind of like warmed up and feeling good.
Right. That
Yeah,
makes a lot
yeah,
of sense. Not setting yourself up for frustration too quickly.
yeah.
Start
But I
small and build slowly, get into that flow.
Yeah, I remember the first time I met. So this is never is not always been like this for me. It's actually been the opposite. Because I remember the first time, for example, I met Nicola. It was like maybe 5 years ago, yeah, maybe 5 6 years ago, and you know it was one of my idols, and so I was like, oh shit, you know, I want to make a good impression. I want him to think that I can skate. And, and back then, I was still into this mindset where as soon as I put my skates on, I want to be able to do the hardest move that I can right away, just to show myself that I can do it. And that's how, like I always got injured and things were always getting into shit and yeah, so I definitely didn't. It hasn't been like this for the whole time. I was like that for a while, and I transitioned into this way. Um,
You learn that with time, I think.
yeah,
When you're
injuries.
young, you you might have expectations of yourself that are unrealistic, that
Yeah,
I should be able to just put my skates on and just do the hardest thing. And
yeah,
then as you get older, you kind of learn, okay, it doesn't work like that. I gotta like
yeah,
work my way up and start simple,
yeah,
chill and be like gentle on myself. Like you see
yeah,
younger kids getting really frustrated.
yeah, yeah. It's a bit the way, and like of course, also like accumulating times, like that it doesn't work at some
Right.
point. You're like, all right, I might just try a different way.
Right. So
Um,
like the way you skate is pretty unique. Like who in skating do you draw inspiration from? Like who are your favorite skaters
a
from?
lot of people. Um, a lot of people. I have definitely a few people high up that, you know, where I probably take more influence, but I try to take influence from anyone in and out of skating. When it comes to skating, if I feel like I would like to go in chronological order, just because, and I'll probably forget some people, but just for at least this way it makes sense in my head. And yeah, this guy I met, Herman, at the beginning, seeing him skating and sliding, he's so flexible, and the way he's lead in the street and just weaving inside cars, going backwards, like his skills skating in the streets were very inspiring. And
It was,
then,
sorry, you said this Min Lehammer guy.
oh, I mean, not right now. I said Herman, which is the guy from London Skate Life that started me. He
What
he
is his
goes
name?
by
Matt?
German.
What is
So
it? Oh, German.
German, yeah.
And what's the last name?
So on Instagram he goes by German underscore ma, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I was to search his name on YouTube, what would I
Uh,
on? Do you know?
yeah. German Moreno Agudo.
German?
German Moreno
Yep.
Agudo. Agudo.
A G Agudo.
Do.
He needs a
Yeah.
more simple name.
So yeah, he is definitely the first that inspired me back then.
Interesting.
And then from then I got to meet this guy Pablo Soler, that he skates now for Icon.
Okay.
But back then,
Pablo Celeb.
Soler,
Okay. Rollerblading is a very big world. Like,
kinda.
there's a lot of skaters.
Yeah, yeah. But this guy Pablo Soler, if you haven't watched his stuff, you can even watch his old stuff. He's still top of my list to this day. He's just, and he started when he was very young, and he was competing in slides. He's got a bit of a background of slalom, possibly some speed skating, and then lately he's got a lot more into downhill, but also he's experimenting with wizard skating. And man, for me, he's like, I still think when I go to skate, I still imagining myself the way he would do something, just to get like kind of like channel a bit of his energy. He's got an insane control, and he's got some crazy technical slides. Um, Balance is just, and even his style of striding, like back then in London, skating with him was like just behind him, seeing the way he was moving and the way he was controlling the skates, just made me feel right away, oh, I want to skate like him, and it to this day when I watch him, I still have the same feeling. So yeah, constant inspiration through the years. And then after that,
I'm gonna
um,
get you to send me some of these some edits of these guys.
yeah, for
I can
sure,
put it in the description.
for sure.
That'd be sweet.
After that, I think I traveled to Barcelona the first time and I met Rui Vieira.
Rui
Um,
Vieta.
yeah, Rui Vieira.
Okay.
And his style he comes from aggressive, but he's been free skate on big wheels for the past 10 years at least. And it was, I don't know, maybe I'll say some bullshit right now, but that's the way I see it at least. He's one of the guys that made the parallel slide look cool.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and I don't know, possibly you have seen rolling under influence.
Um.
He's got a logo like NBA style,
Okay.
but rather than the basketball guy, there's him kind of like doing a slide, the silhouette.
Okay. That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's him. And yeah, like when I was in Barcelona, I saw him skating, and that was another moment where my brain went like, wow, he's just skating different. Because obviously my style was a bit inspired by snowboarding, if that makes sense, which I don't know if it does, but I would use my shoulders a lot and I wouldn't lift my skates much because I like the feeling of being grounded.
Yeah.
So I was already a bit like that, but then he had perfected this style through the years. So seeing him skate was like, wow, he's really doing it in a very cool way, and it was just very low. And I remember when I went back to London after that trip, I hadn't even met him. I just saw him and I just skated behind him for a while, just trying to absorb something. And then when I went back to London, I was like, I don't know what the guy was doing, but he was staying very low all the time and not lifting his skates. So I think, like, seriously, after I came back from that trip for 3 months, I skated without lifting my skates and staying low the whole time. And I became a different skater. And I think that's when I started to uh, also develop a bit my style. And I make videos, and people kind of noticing me. Um, Back then, it was like maybe 2018. And so that was back then. And then, of course, you guys, your skating, super inspiring. Watching the edits, especially all the wizard edits. Joy on the K2R hundreds when he was like, I don't know, just riding all the walls and then the ramps and just sliding. All that stuff was very powerful. Leon at the same time, around that same era, super inspiring. Even though back then I would still be more attracted by slides, so I wouldn't still understand much all the swivels and all that, and I would be a bit more attracted by, I don't know, a jump and a slide. And that's probably at the same time I got to discover Nick Lomax, Sam Crofts, that they were skating big wheels back then, the undercover edits. Um, and they were like doing, skating in the streets, jumping, sliding, down some banks. And so that was also super inspiring. I think those years, Nick and Sam were heavily inspiring for me. And And then I think, yeah, when I got into wizard skating more, I think I got inspired by Min Lehammer,
Yeah.
and then I think that's when got back into watching wizard skating stuff more, but this time starting to understand a bit what was going on. So of course, Leon, you guys, Mike Torres, pretty much any person who was appearing in the wizard videos. Um, and so that went like that until I started probably getting a bit deeper into following people from Aggressive. And I think, right, and so we come to the time where I moved to Barcelona. And and perhaps that's when I discovered Alex Brosco. And I think, yeah, to this day, just massive inspiration. Just yeah, perhaps the best of the best to ever do it. Uh, just in terms of like, yeah, just um, the delivery, maybe.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to, it's difficult to judge who's better, but when it comes to just delivering, yeah, it's just, I don't know, insane. Um, so yeah, and that's when I started to enjoy, I don't know, all the he's and I started to be a bit more focused on, I don't know, posture and trying to make movements clean and a bit more effortless. And well, now I'm gonna start to probably forget a lot of people, but yeah, a lot of people from Aggressive for sure. Like then I started to discover many others. The Kelso's brother are very inspiring in their swag. Um, Colin is very creative, and like he will do all types of things on his skates, and it's very, yeah, very refreshing, very inspiring. He seems like very passionate about movement in general, and so he seems like he likes to explore all types of things too. But he will always give you the best of the best when it comes to like the video product, and
Right.
so that's like super inspiring. Um, JK
Yeah.
JK definitely, yeah, up there with the swaggest skaters out there, and the way he approached wizard skating as well was really cool because it got a lot closer to the way I pictured it, at least in my head, which was a bit more, uh, well, definitely swagger and. And then maybe you get like that ski style somehow, that the way he kind of like, he's so loose in the way he moves, and he seems like, I don't know, it's something like closer to maybe a ski style. Mm, yeah, just the body movement. I'm not talking about the feet, but yeah, the body. um I don't know, I'm not sure what I said. um And then who else? Well, a lot of people come to my head, like Don Bruce. He's really, really amazing. Uh, and then, oh, I forgot Danny Aldridge. Well, Danny Aldridge from yeah, way before, and especially after I got the luck to meet him in Barcelona and spend some skate with him many times. Like this day, we don't skate that much together, but like definitely big inspiration. Um, and yeah, and then I think I really need, I perhaps forgot a lot of people. but I really need to mention the person who I consider my mentor, who is a guy from London. He is on his 60s, and he practices slalom the most right now. But he's been skating for 30 plus years. He used to do
Wow.
quads, and he's just been on skates. Um, and he's the guy who really taught me to slow down and to break down things into simple stuff. So yeah, like he's probably it's different. It's different inspiration because it's not like the skating style or the tricks and that, but it's a bit more like the method, you know.
Right.
So he really gave me the method of approach, and that for me was a game changer because the moment I started understanding it, that's when I feel like I just started a whole different journey that I'm still on now, and this way I
Well,
can.
yeah, you said he's 60.
Yeah, he's like 61 or 2, something like that. He's in his
Yeah,
60s.
so he would have some wisdom
Yeah,
after all those
yeah,
years.
yeah,
Um, After skating for 30 years and living for 60 years, he would have a very refined philosophy.
yeah, exactly. And that was the main point he transmitted me was a bit more in the approach rather than the actual move or whatever, you know?
Right,
And it was like, because me, I was like, I couldn't, when it came to slalom, for example, I was like, why the fuck I can't do this? And everything would hurt, you know, and I
right,
had too much energy and I wasn't able to hold it. So I was like, fuck this, you know, and or he was trying to teach me something, I just want to do it right away.
right,
And he was like, slow down, Nikki, slow down. Or I remember, because I knew that even though he may have not been able to do certain things, he would have the eye to kind of like understand the physics behind anything skating. So whenever, for example, I was starting to learn some wizard and I couldn't really figure out, I never really had people around me who were into it that I could just bounce off ideas. And so like I I I was going to him and I was like, "Hey Hugh, I'm trying to do this move, which looks like this. You know, maybe I showed him a video or whatever, and I'm trying to do it, but I cannot do it. I don't know. Maybe it was like a huge lion, whatever, spin, whatever, you know." And he would come and he was like, "Nikki, come here," and he was like, "Just put your hands here and roll straight on one skate." And I was like, the fuck? Like, of course I can do this, man. Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm trying to do this complicated thing, and like I wouldn't get it until I got it, you know. And it happened in a way when I was teaching. I was teaching someone how to do lemons, and uh, and I was like, oh, you gotta push with both feet, 50-50, you know, 50%, like at the same way. And then as I tried to explain, I realized one of my feet wouldn't really push the same as the other. So one day I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me fucking fix this thing because I'm teaching people how to do it, and I am the first one I gotta work on. And so and at this time I was already trying to practice more advanced stuff, way more advanced. I don't know, slides, 540, whatever, and. And then I get back into practicing this lemon, and I get my left to feel good this time. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I have this feeling. I'm like, oh, let me see if now this wizard turn or this whatever inside outside edge transition that I was trying before. Let me see if now it works. And as I do it, I'm like, oh, okay, now it works. But I got there by learning how to do a lemon, and that was just that was the moment it clicked for me. You know, it was like, oh, how many basic skill am I missing?
right.
and I'm still in that journey. I always like try to pick myself in what basic stuff I don't know how to do,
Right.
and that's my journey. That's what I do most days when I go out skating. I just like pick myself into. I try to not go too hard. I try to pick like very subtle things so I don't get too frustrated,
Right.
and I just take it from there. And I'm like, oh, I should be able to do this simple thing, but I it's an effort. So let me try to make it effortless, and that's what I do. And then this guy Hugh, he by spending time with him and seeing how he approached problems, because whenever I had a problem, he would like, all right, do this exercise because it will get you to feel that.
Right.
And so by that's how I developed my way of doing the same thing. Like whenever I have a problem now, I'm gonna look for a movement, then it's gonna make me engage that I don't know movement um, in a simple way, in an achievable way, and
Right.
then take it a step further, and then make it like a bit. And this is what I do in my lessons, pretty much. Like whatever I feel like worked for me, then I bring it to the lesson, and like I realize that most people benefit from it, and most of the time we all have the same problems. We all have the same difficulties or very similar. Like most of the struggle is the same for most people. I guess we all come from
Right.
walking and just doing just basic life stuff. So unless you have a very particular set of skills, struggle is gonna be very similar. And
I need a lesson. I'm coming to Barcelona. But that makes so much sense, and you're so lucky that you had a 60-year
yeah,
old man to like
oh
bestow
man,
some of the that knowledge upon you. It's such a common young person thing is to try to jump past all the simple, basic things and jump straight into something that's
yeah,
complicated and then get frustrated.
yeah,
It's like, whoa, whoa, young man, like
yeah,
start like break it down into
yeah,
simple, attainable tasks.
yeah. I'm
Something
blessed.
I've never been able to do, is it a lion where you do like the S carve and then revert?
The
You
S.
you are very is it S, yeah. You're really good at that. So how help me? How do I do that? How do I do that?
Okay, just gotta break it down.
Right.
Break it
I
down.
get like I get to that point where I should bring it back and I
Yeah.
can't stop my momentum. Like I
All
get to
right.
that point
Yeah.
where you're like looking at your trying to look at your foot that's in the air
Yeah.
and you should be able to carve back the other way.
Yeah. You,
I
you just
just can't.
yeah. It's very common. It's very common. Like that's the most common struggle, and I also had the same problem. And the way I tackled it was just by getting comfortable into into this position with the foot back.
Right.
And you get comfortable there, and you will also start to look for a slalom. So you'll hold the position of the wherever you lose the momentum, and you can practice that position just
Just
going
holding
straight.
it.
Yeah, just staying there and getting comfortable. You can bounce on your leg, and then you can start slaloming with the foot. You can go outside edge, inside edge, outside edge, inside edge,
That makes a
and
lot of
then
sense.
and then from
Just rolling
there,
like that, just going fakie, holding that body position and feeling it, controlling it,
yeah,
getting
yeah,
more comfortable there. That makes so much sense.
because
Like I
then
get to that point and my brain and my body just kind of like freak out and I
yeah,
lose it. But that makes total sense is just to focus on that one area,
yeah,
break it down, get really comfortable there. So when you get
yeah,
there in the middle of the movement, you've been there a million times and you know what to
exactly,
do.
exactly, and then if the other one doesn't work, then you just do the other one.
Right.
Just do
Well,
the first lion and get to the second part. Then you practice the second part alone, and then you do the third part. Then you do the third part from the position, and then you just put it together, and he'll probably when you get it, you're like, oh, it's actually not. Well, I wouldn't say it's not difficult because it is quite technical, but like if you get comfortable in the middle part, then it gets easy, It gets
Right. It's funny how things can seem so difficult and then, something
Mm.
changes in your brain
Yeah,
and then it feels easy.
yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
that's such a cool feeling.
Yeah, I
It's
am
so
blessed.
mysterious how that works.
I am very blessed to have met this man, Hugh, and to still, to this day, whenever I go to London, I try to spend as much time as I can. He always skates in Hyde Park, which is
Okay.
like a park which is quite popular for skaters,
Yeah.
and he will always be there. And he also gives lessons. So if you're ever in London, just go see him. But he is, apart from lessons, he always hangs out there, and he's super welcoming. He's like try to keep the community of people there. You won't see him much elsewhere. He'll be there. He
That's
does his
cool.
lessons, and then he hangs up there, and he'll do his practice on the cones, and then he'll teach people.
Does
Um,
this guy do any like video content? Is there any like videos of him? No,
he's on Instagram, but he hardly posts stuff.
he's beyond that.
Yeah, it's beyond that. It's
Wizard
beyond.
level.
Yeah, and he skates so everything is so slow.
Oh shit.
He'll do the cones like, and then he goes on his heels, and then
Ooh.
he spins, and then he brings it back, and everything is so. And for me, that was like, and that he is the person I spent the most time in London because with the style that I had, I didn't have many people to skate with, like so for me the best thing I found to do when I was there was to go into Hyde Park, sit down, put my bag with him, and just try my stuff, then chat to him, and he would give me exercises, and basically it was like for me it was like having a friend who has an immense knowledge to share, and he put me on the right way with his method, and yeah, just so blessed, so blessed. I'll be forever grateful to him, and yeah, if people are in London, they should definitely hang out with him.
Do you think you'll be skating when you're 60?
Yeah, I hope so. No, I think so. Yeah, if I won't be skating, probably doing maybe because I found something better to do.
Your form of skating seems very like ergonomic and not very high impact. I mean, you do jump stairs and get crazy, but like I don't, have you ever been injured? Have you ever,
Got a shoulder injury.
yeah,
Some when I was in like maybe the year before I left London, so maybe 5 years ago, 5 6 years ago. I got a shoulder injury where I kind of like stretched some tendons and like acromioclavicular tendon. Um, I don't remember the name of the injury, but yeah, it's tendon injury. And
but
although
definitely not like aggressive skaters just destroy their body.
no,
Seems
but
like
for me,
your
this was
style of skating's pretty healthy on the body.
yeah, but this for me was very because I never really figured out my shoulders. It's not like I had knowledge of how my shoulder worked
Yeah,
and how I use them. So that happening to me, it put me off a lot. And I'm still in the process of figuring it out. And I feel like I got a lot closer to feeling better again. But these
yeah,
last 5 years have been heavily influenced by my shoulder in the sense of like, I felt like I lost my, what I felt until then was my body. Like it felt different after that. Because then
like
this,
your confidence.
no, it's more like the way the shoulder, like this tendon, is now
Yeah,
a bit stretched. And
mhm,
like my shoulder has got more articulation than it had before.
yeah,
And it affected the way I use my core.
Yeah.
and then it affected the way I engage my hip. And so at rest, I kind of like yeah, just felt weird the whole time, you know. I kind of lost that feeling like solid.
Right.
Um,
A good thing to
but
do might be hanging, just like dead hanging.
yeah, yeah.
Just stretch it out and like increase that strength.
It's funny because after the injury, that's when I finally got into work. Because of the injury, I got into mobility and trying to hang and try to do a
Yeah.
bit of workout. And I feel like for all these years, I did worse. Perhaps because of the same problem where I had too much expectations, and rather than take it easy, I would just like damage myself.
Right.
And so right now I'm in a healthy place where I feel like, okay, I can hang and I can start to pull and I can like feel like my shoulder is going closer to how it used to feel. But yeah, I lost myself for a few years, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just, but yeah, like compared to maybe a lot of people who maybe practice aggressive is definitely a different level of getting injured.
Yeah. I think, yeah, your style of skating lends well to older participants, jumping on handrails, sliding kinkers and stuff. It,
I would still like to learn though.
yeah.
I
Yeah, I
would
saw
still,
that edit of you trying aggressive. You seem pretty good. It seems like you
yeah.
could pick it up if you wanted to, but I like that you don't grind, to be honest. It
Yeah.
makes you more unique.
Yeah.
Don't get obsessed with grinding like the rest of us.
Like
Don't get
last
hyper focused on it.
yeah, last year I went for like a month. I went, I'm not saying every day, but good amount of times every week on my own to skate park. And I was just like trying to understand the balance on sole plates and stuff like that. And it started feeling really good. You know, it was like, oh, this shit, this is fun, you
Yeah.
know. But then I enjoy so much getting out of the house on my wheels, and I have such a long list of stuff that I want to do on my wheels that I haven't skated aggressive in maybe a year. So I have a setup ready now, anti-rocker, because I want to try anti-rocker again,
Yeah.
and I'll go at some point. Um, who knows? But yeah, definitely my list of stuff to do on wheels is very long. So I
That's good to
think
hear.
I
It'll
think
probably just get longer too. Like the more you learn, you'll probably figure out new
hmm,
possibilities,
yeah,
combine different things that you can do.
yeah,
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 you've got like a massive trick vocabulary on just rolling on the ground.
yeah. I try to yes, I try to think like that, but a lot of times because of that, some stuff I haven't practiced it so much to think is like it's always in my bag. So I have to and maybe know how to do it, but sometimes depending on what it is, it might take me
Right.
a good bunch of tries until I get it right. You know, like if you see like a lot of my videos, sometimes I don't know, maybe 50 tries.
Oh
You
wow.
know, and I mean sometimes the first try was the best one, and I just keep fucking it up more
Happens
and
so much.
yeah,
Where you
and
think it wasn't good, but it
yeah,
actually was really good. Yeah,
yeah, or maybe
happens to me all the time.
you get too you're like you want to make it too perfect.
Right.
Oh, I could make it better, you know. And I believe this is something that I don't know in aggressive. If like I always sometimes I think like, oh, if you were to I don't know do a disaster into a rail, you wouldn't want to do that so many times, you know. So you're like, all right, done. I'll take it the way it is.
Right. Right.
Where with this less impact stuff, you feel like you could just do it and do it and do it. And sometimes I'm like, oh, so I'll just keep doing it, doing it, doing it, and sometimes it doesn't get better, it just gets worse. And
Totally.
sometimes it does, and that 100 times is worth the video where it's like, yeah, now it looks very close to the way I saw it in my head.
Right.
So
But oftentimes, like, you have an expectation of what the trick should be when you try it, and then like you do it and it doesn't meet that expectation. So you think that it's a failure, right? But then like months later, when you can separate
yeah,
yourself from what you were thinking at the time, you look
100%.
at it and you're like, wait, that was great.
Yeah,
It wasn't exactly what I had in my head, but like whatever I did there was
it was
dope.
cool. Yeah. 100%. 100%. That happens.
I have that experience when watching old edits where like I like it so much more than the new stuff that I put out because the new stuff I'm like I can remember what I was thinking at the time, and when I
Mm,
watch it I'm like, oh, that wasn't what I was exactly what I wanted. But
yeah,
then if I wait long enough I forget about that, and then I can just really see it in a pure way.
yeah. That's very true. That's very true. It happened to me a lot too. And I look at older videos that, as you say, I detached now, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. I did that. And back then I was like, oh no, that's the part. I don't like to do that. Or maybe
Critical.
videos that I didn't post.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, why I didn't post this? Like this
Right.
was good.
Yeah.
And yeah. So yeah, it's a bit that way. But yeah, I try to explore a lot of stuff. I don't like to repeat myself when it comes to videos. I always like to try to bring something new, or at least go around a lot before I get back into something I already did. Like just
Right.
let it breathe for a while, because
Right.
and that comes from, I don't know, possibly my personality, but also, some people doing over and over the same thing, and then when I watch it, I'm like, oh, again, like I know what you're gonna do. And I don't really want to give past that feeling to others. So
Right.
so like a bit like, I don't want to be that guy.
No, it's good. The element of surprise is
Yeah,
important. Yeah.
yeah, and like I feel like, um
If
also
people
that's what.
know what you're about to do and then you do it, it's not going to have as much
Yeah,
impact as if you do something that like totally comes out of
yeah,
left field and defies
yeah,
expectations. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and then of course, like sometimes you get into a bit more subtleties where only few people may understand the novelty of it.
Right.
To a lot of others, it looks the same.
Yeah.
But then some people, they will get like, oh, he did it the other way, or oh, I don't know, he did that, And unfortunately, there's not that many people that get it when it comes to, um, style of
Complexities.
skating, the wizard skating or whatever.
Right.
It's like it's a bit of a niche. So when you do certain things, is for a very small amount of people.
Right.
Um, it would be nice if in the future there was like a bigger, um, more people who would understand, and who would catch it. But I guess it's up to us to make the make the community bigger somehow.
Right. I saw you at that return event
Yeah, yeah.
in that was Berlin. Um, was that a competition, like a wizard contest?
Yeah, it was like a flat game.
Nice.
Like, with the same way you would play a skate game in
Yeah.
skateboarding,
Yeah.
but just with flat tricks, which was very cool. Um, both years, last year was the second year they did it, and they kind of like they put a rule that I felt like, because the first year I won the competition, and I like to do slides. So
Yeah.
I incorporate a lot of slides,
Yeah.
and one, I think that my winning move was the double slide, where I go one foot and then
Oh
and then
yeah.
the other one,
Good
and
luck with
then
that.
And then this year they put a rule where you can only do one slide. And I was
Oh,
like,
geez.
I feel I felt a bit like personally hit. I was like, what'd you do that for?
Right. Taking
And
away
I
your
was,
advantage.
and
I
I
don't
was
know.
like,
I don't know if I like that idea of like a game of skate. I almost would like to see it more like figure skating, where people just get like a minute or something to
yeah,
just
man,
skate and do whatever the hell they want, right? And then the judges decide
yeah.
who put
That's
together the
what,
best routine.
yeah, I was with several people. I was thinking about this. I think the very first person I spoke to about this style of like battle or maybe performance, as you say, was Harry Abel. And back then we were thinking like, oh, it'd be cool if it was like a dance battle, where you get in
Right,
and
right.
you do your thing, and then you get out, and then the other person goes in and it does its thing. And I think this would be so cool because then imagine
That would be
like
pretty cool.
you do something, and then I can just do the same, but then put my own twist, and
Right,
like
right,
there's a bit more communication, where it's like,
right,
oh, I understand you.
right, right.
You're doing
Like
this.
respond to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What you got? What
Same.
you got?
It's like saying like a rap battle. The guy ends up with a line, and the other guy it takes
Right.
the punchline and then he flips it. And I think this will be really cool and very um, yeah, but a good fit for the style of skating that we do because it's just freestyle, and people from slalom would be able to join in because now they can just do their thing and kick everybody's ass because they've got slalom is deep. Um, but also the game of flat I think is fun too because it's um, I think it's fun. I don't find it. I think it's
Oh, it's where
fun.
you like match the person's trick, right? Like they
Yeah,
do something and then you have to do it. If you don't do it,
yeah,
you get a letter.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's more fun where you play like that. You don't do one trick each. I think like if you propose a trick and then you keep proposing until you don't fail. I think that's a bit better because it's a bit more competitive, but where it's a bit more of back and forth. Maybe something that you can do with a friend just to kind of like share the moves, but I feel like in a competition it's cooler that if you don't miss, then you keep um, proposing your thing, so you can become a bit more strategic.
Right.
Because then you're like, oh, I need to make sure that I do stuff that I can land, so that I can keep going, and so that this way you can go a bit more like I don't know. I'm not very familiar with Blade game, but I watch a lot of skate competitions, and I really love the sort of like general setting where people start from I don't know kickflip, and then they do fakey kickflip, and then they do nollie kickflip, and then they do heel flip. They just
Yeah.
do all the basics, and then they start getting a bit deeper, and I think it's very cool. Just as a because then you make sure you got all the basic stuff, and then you get a bit more advanced, and at the same time you can like understand the opponent. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a good game for like skill building because you're
Yeah,
forced to try
yeah,
the person's stuff.
yeah,
Yeah. I just view it as being a little bit more like inside baseball, like more for the group of skaters.
yeah.
When I
Definitely
think
stuff
about
for
like
the audience.
when I think about what would be the most entertaining for like a non-skating uh,
It's not that.
demographic, I
Yeah,
think that the best would be making it more like figure skating, where it's like a
yeah,
performance. The
yeah.
person just puts together like the best 30 seconds or minute that they can do.
Freestyle or like my
I'm
question is
talking I'm talking
freestyle to the
Well, I'm
music.
talking specifically about like flat ground.
Yeah, but like um, freestyling 30 seconds or like having a prepared choreography.
Um, Either way, I think you
Okay.
would naturally prepare something.
Yeah.
But who knows? Probably maybe the best people would be really good at improv. You might
Yeah.
go into it with some moves in mind that you know you want to do.
Hmm.
It would just be an interesting, I would like to see that. It would be an
Yeah.
interesting experiment to see what people come up with. Like, here's the flat ground area. You got 1 minute.
Yeah.
Here's your time. Go.
Would you put the music?
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
then would you judge the what would you judge?
I would judge consistency. So, like,
Mhm.
did you screw up or did you hit all your
Yeah.
tracks?
Yeah.
Consistency, difficulty.
Yeah.
Uh,
The technicality you mean by difficulty, like how yeah, difficulty,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Um, Style
Yeah.
and flow.
Musicality.
Maybe flow and style would be combined. I think people could select their own music.
How about musicality?
Maybe like that might be a part of style, or flow is like how well it married to the music or how well they flowed to the music. There would be
Mhm.
that element.
Yeah.
I mean, you could really break this down. Like the judging could be pretty, there could be a good set of categories for which the people were judged on.
Yeah.
It would it would be really good even for like YouTube Live. Like it would be
Yeah.
like
That'd be
I'm sure
amazing, man.
it would be really fun to watch.
For me, very cool is when they do this in slalom, especially in China, it's very popular. They
Yeah.
do these impro battles, and
Okay.
they'll put the same song, and then the people have to slalom improvising to the same song,
Right.
and I think the fact that you don't choose the song is the best part because you gotta show how good you can adapt to different flows, and which for
Right.
me is one of the abilities that I love the most. And even when it comes to music, like people who can rap to different flows and they can switch their flows, for me that's one of the best things that I can appreciate. When there's a flow switch, and when it comes to the music, there's this guy. Oh, I forgot to mention it. And when you asked me about inspiration, about Wuka, he goes
Yeah.
by
The
Wuka
slalom skater.
66.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the way
That
he'll
guy's
go.
incredible.
He goes from classic into then I don't know some hardcore metal, pa, 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 and then he goes just like I see him. I'm like, oh, I'd love to fucking be in his skates, like just wow, it's just
Yeah, that guy's incredible.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so for me, I it's mind blowing how that still so distant from what we're doing. Like I don't know. I'm waiting for when these people will kind of like get closer to the way wizard skate. Because I feel like wizard skate is a bit like a glue, you know, between all the disciplines. Um, and that was like my what I was also trying to say with free skating, but it's definitely thanks to what wizard skating. Um, it kind of like took a bit of influences and then put them together to show that they can live in a form together, um and yeah, it's for me it's just I always think like, oh, why these guys who do slalom, they don't jump on a ledge and then they go like on a ledge and then just spin off, jump off, or like those one wheel. It's
Oh my
like,
God.
why
Yeah.
don't they take it on the street? Like, you don't
Right.
even need to jump on something very difficult, but just on a very tiny platform, but just in the street. And Maybe I don't understand their perspective of it, and that's why I'm like, oh, why don't they do this? But, but
It
yeah,
is crazy that yeah, they're not interested in utilizing those skills in different ways.
yeah, and yeah, it's great. But also, yeah, this thing that we are saying of the battle, it would also connect a lot to the audience of not only figure skating, but I guess dancing in general, because
Right.
it would have a bit more of the performance and something close to what dance battles. And dance is probably the number one activity the humans
Oh
uh,
yeah.
engage on. So it will help a lot skating to kind of like connect to all new, yeah, to more people.
Right. Because a lot of what we do basically is just dancing with wheels on our feet.
Yeah, just
Some people
this,
are more dancey than others.
yeah, yeah. This girl that I found recently that is incredible. Um, she goes by this name, oh, Chen Chu Yao, I think.
Chinchuya,
Yeah, she's unbelievable, and
like
she comes
roller
from
dancer.
slalom. No, she comes from slalom, but she takes it off the cones,
Whoa.
and she's got such an elegance to her movement.
Oh yeah. So like a little bit of figure skating influence, a little bit of
Yeah, and
slalom influence, and that's dope.
I, I, yeah, and it would be cool also because imagine like you would create a team with people with a different sort of like style, so that depending on which kind of like flow comes in, you got a person that can take it. I don't know. I think like it'll make it very much more interesting, and it will put value on, yeah, also on our variety, because there's so much variety now, but everything is a bit separate. Where in this way, every person, every style could join for the same purpose, which is, I don't know, winning the battle. Imagine in the why not in the course? You just put a box on the
Right,
side.
right,
If you want, you can grind. You don't have to, because
right.
all you gotta do is do the minute to the music, and you can. But if you want, if you're gonna grind to the music, or if you wanna throw in a grind, why not? Like I wouldn't separate it. I feel like,
Right. It's all just skating.
yeah, it's like it should be there. It will make it even cooler. Like if you can do all that and then you even hit the grind, and maybe when the song goes like, and then you hit the grind at that, and then you get back into
Oh, yeah.
the. It'll be.
Definitely want to see more experimentation with
Yeah,
contest format.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That guy Billy Arlew,
Yeah.
spoke to him about this, and he's very into this form too. And he said he's got a group of people in Denver, and he
Nice.
might start experimenting with it. And we
Yeah.
said like, oh, we gotta make it happen at some point, even if at the next return, even if it's just between us, but just like try.
Yeah. There's so many possibilities, like with just like a flat surface. I just love the simplicity of it because like doing it on a park just adds so much complexity in terms of like producing like a product, like a show around it.
Hmm.
Whereas like
Hmm.
if it's like a battle or a like a performance on a very small strip of concrete, there's so much focus
Hmm.
you can create and like having like stands around it or whatever for spectators. Like it could just be so cool.
Yeah, man,
So
100%.
so producible.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see you have like a lot of clothes. a lot of different clothes.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about like the storage of your clothes and your skates. Like you seem to have like a lot of skates.
Skate, I try to keep the essentials. So I definitely skated a lot, but I try to sell the ones that I know I don't use and
Yeah.
like keep
Okay.
the flow going and same for clothes. I try to I try to think that I always have like a set of essential, but as my girlfriend says, my wardrobe is very dynamic. The way she described it, it's like she's like, oh, when I buy stuff, it stays that for a while, you know. Where
Right.
me, I always say that I have essentials, but the whole wardrobe is very dynamic. It kind of like it's circular, you know. So sometimes something gets in and then gets out, and some stuff I end up using for a long time. But I guess it's also for me the same. I tell her because she always say like, "Oh, why you always buy so much stuff? We don't have space." Uh, but I also tell her that it's a bit like the way I learn about clothes. I like and about skates as well. Like you know, like me experimenting with a lot of skates was also how I learned. Well, how I am learning about different skates and oh this skate it's good for this or this is good this or this I like this I don't like this doesn't seem to be good quality or this doesn't seem to be the best and I feel like with clothes it's the same and plus I don't know it's a bit like um, figuring out what I really like to wear and what works for me. Um, so yeah, I think I definitely learned a lot in these last years, and also the way I buy clothes is has changed a lot because back then I always loved clothes since I'm a kid. My mom always tells me like when I was 4, she couldn't dress me the way she wanted because I was like, no, I don't wear that, I don't wear this. So I feel like I've always been like that. I've always had like a sense of like what I like. I like to wear in a certain way.
Right.
Um, but growing up, it's not that I could buy as many clothes as I wanted. It was like just I don't know, Christmas or I could ask for something. And so I feel like when I got my first job in London, I started like spending everything on clothes but the thing is like back then because I was raised by oh you don't want to spend too much on clothes and you don't want to like buy expensive stuff because we don't have money and blah blah and
Yeah.
so when I started earning my money and to spend them, I would always buy cheap stuff. I was going to like I don't know these big chains and like oh that's on sale, so I buy that, and then my were very big, and then I would end up with trash. With a lot of trash that you maybe use once, but then you
Right.
wash it and then within the years, I started to learn about quality and and also like that all these companies are not really good for the environment, and it's not very good to buy a lot of clothes like that. So now from yeah, good like 3 years at least, I buy most of the stuff secondhand and I resell most of like I sell whatever I don't use, and and most of
Do
the
you,
times I get deal like I really look for good prices, so I don't really lose money. Actually,
yeah.
sometimes I end up making.
Is there
Um,
like, do you buy and sell clothes online or is there a place in?
yeah, online. Sometimes I sell to something to my friends, just good prices, like
Yeah.
give them very good deals. Um,
Do you just use like social media to like buy used clothes or is there a certain site?
like there's an app called Vinted,
Sorry, what
and
is it?
it's called Vinted. I don't know if it's in the
Fintech.
US, Canada, US, I don't know in America if there is, but it's like probably something like Depop.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, like I just go through, but I really love like going to the shops as well, and I'll like just look at stuff and I'll try it on, and then maybe I'll look for it online. So I have a bit of a hobby, let's say, when it comes to like look for clothes and um, yeah, I'm definitely learning more. I'm going a bit deeper into like how fashion works, how production and the different materials, and like similar way to skating. You kind of like start to understand. Okay, you kind of make the eye for certain fits and silhouettes, and you're like, oh, I'm looking for something a bit more specific, the materials, um, and also like I feel like I'm learning a bit more about color matching. So rather than going before, I remember I used to want to find things that would like I don't know, a t-shirt with a big graphic or a big logo and something like very eye-catching. Where now I try to put a bit more essential stuff like blank, but focus on maybe nice silhouettes, good color matching, and that it has to feel good. When you wear it, you want stuff that feels good on the body, and
That's the most important.
yeah, yeah.
Comfort.
Try to wear the least plastic possible. You know, when it comes to, I feel like, yeah, when it comes to t-shirts, hoodies, pants, and all that, I try to avoid completely plastic. Underwear, especially, try to avoid plastic completely. Just of course, if you have like a jacket or waterproof or something like that, like hat is still a bit plasticky. Um, Socks, there's some nylon plastic, some shit, but yeah, I'm trying to get a bit more conscious about the whole thing, and um, yeah, I think um, just the second hand, I think is quite cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that is really cool. Um, you said you were raised Roman Catholic.
Yeah. Oh, and then I didn't mention I just started doing some stuff with power
Oh,
slide.
nice.
So this is just a simple hoodie, but it's really nice. It's got like a very cool fit. The cotton is very nice, and we are making pants. And I'm very excited for you to try the pants because I think I'm very happy with how they're turning out. Um,
Please.
and I feel like all this process of me trying clothes and like buying them, or like getting clothes from everywhere is also like for me a bit to learn for eventually being able to make something myself, and maybe at the moment it's just with power slide, but yeah, definitely in the future I would love to do some stuff. It's just now it got so saturated where everybody's doing clothes and fashion, and like streetwear is so trendy that it felt like I don't want to be just another brand, and I don't have the, I don't know. I think I'll wait. I'll do some practice with power slide, maybe do some stuff, understand a bit production and stuff like that, and maybe in the future do my own clothes. Yeah, that would probably be a dream.
You could
From
definitely do it.
yeah,
Seem to
yeah,
have the eye and the taste for it.
yeah. The little kid in me would yeah still dreams about that. So
Yeah.
it's I'll get there, but yeah, for the moment, I think I'm really happy to have the opportunity to have to be able to do it with power slide.
Yeah, they're giving you a lot of good opportunities.
Yeah, yeah, it's very cool. But yeah, Roman Catholic. Yeah, yeah. My family is not. My parents are not very religious. My grandma used to be quite religious. So I didn't grow up. Um, like I went to catechism, I did the communion, the confirmation, but we were not very practical. How do you say like um,
Serious or
yeah, it's not.
dedicated.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
So you're not practicing anymore.
hmm. I mean, definitely, I wouldn't consider myself religious, and perhaps I never really been. But my relationship with God had a lot of changes, because then I started with by just being indoctrinated with this Catholicism, and as a God, and you gotta go to church to you can pray in the night before going to sleep. You'll say your prayer, and you'll say the things that you want to happen, and you pray for other people. But I don't know. I don't think there was much understanding um, of what this whole thing was from the people telling me. It was like a bit more of a something you do rather than a real thing that you feel, and you have a relationship with God, and I don't know. It feels like a bit more of those things that get passed, but people don't really understand what it is. But they just pass it because somebody passed it to them.
Yeah.
Like just pass it to you, and it's like, oh,
Right.
you just do this. Why? Oh, you just do it. It's
Well, it's like when you say relationship with God, that's such a personal thing that you need
yeah,
to experience. And you can't just bestow that upon somebody with a set
yeah,
of rules or
yeah,
knowledge. It's
yeah,
something they need to like feel for themselves. Because there's really no, I mean, the way that one person will experience that relationship is
yeah,
completely different
yeah.
than
Hundred
the way
percent.
someone else will.
100%. And I think like, the way I remember as a teenager when I started, growing up, I always felt like most people, you have like the angel and the devil. And like you're like find yourself, oh, should I do this? And then you're like, yeah, do it. And like, no, you shouldn't do it. And that's how um I figured growing up that was like, um, yeah, if I do it, it's good. If I don't do it, something bad is gonna happen to me. If I listen to the devil, something bad is gonna happen to me. And like what the church, at least the way I grow up, is always like, oh, you will get God punishes and stuff like that. And I remember when I started to study philosophy at school, at high school, was maybe 16, and I got to the point where I was really interested in philosophy. It was one of the few subjects that was like I was quite, yeah, genuinely interested, because I was like, oh, this seems quite cool, that they explore all these existentialism, and like Nietzsche. How know you pronounce it in English? Nietzsche.
Nietzsche.
Nietzsche. Yeah, he was like back then the first one to really make me think when he was saying like the superhuman, God, everyone is God. There is no God, everyone is God, and he the you can always fucking hell, now I think I lost it a little bit. But he used to say you can always, well, at least this is my interpretation. You can always like, mm, well, he was saying like live your life in a way that you would like to relive it every day for the rest of your life. So always be your best version of yourself. God, we are all God, type of thing. He used to have this bit, um, like, because now thinking about this stuff, I think about it with the head of now, and like I struggle to see the way I used to see it back then. But I feel like back then I heard he was saying like God doesn't exist. We are God. And that thing hit me hard. I was like, oh, that makes so much sense, you know? And the religion is wrong. And I remember having those years where I was like going at my grandma and like, whoa, why do you believe in God? Like, the church is tricking you. They just want your money. They just want like, and like talking to me had become impossible because I was such a pain in the ass because I was always like
Right.
uh, challenging people because I thought I understood it, you know, because um, I had the answer, something like that, you know, God doesn't exist. And I think I didn't even really understand what Nietzsche was saying back then, but I
Right.
interpreted it in a way that I just felt like I could channel my maybe delusion to the church and religion
Right.
in general. And so I started saying like, oh, I don't believe in God and this and that for some years. But I noticed back then that I never lost connection with my own self and with my consciousness. So even though I was saying like I don't believe in God, I still kept a good relationship with my consciousness, you know, and like with just the voice in my head. And and then yeah, later through the years, I started to maybe get a bit more of an understanding of a lot of things probably, and this led me to think to realize like, oh, perhaps the voice that is always speaking to me and that seems to be able to guide me, oh, that is God, you know, and and that's how I got closer. And this was like maybe I don't know 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. And then yeah, this got always a bit more solid to the point where now I feel like I have a very good relationship with it, and yeah, and I love it. I think it's yeah, I think we're all blessed, you know, to have this powerful tool inside us that's like your best friend, you know, you can always speak to, and you know, you can call it God, you can call it whatever, but I love the fact that it can answer, you know, you make a question and it gives you an answer. And I
Right.
had to definitely go through the phase, and perhaps I still go through it, of removing other voices, because you know you may have voices of, I don't know, parents, you may have voices of fear, voices of people around you. And so when you ask a question, rather than listening to your own voice, you will listen to, I don't know, fear, or you will listen to, I don't know, your father saying like, oh no, you know, like giving you an answer. And so I feel like, yeah, the first part was really realizing like, okay, when this is the voice of fear, this is the voice of my father, this is the voice of I don't know,
Seeking
my
pleasure. Right.
ex-girlfriend. And this is my own voice, you know,
Right.
this is my uh, this is the person who wants the best for me, you
Right.
know, the person, I mean, the voice that wants the best for me. And that's with me all the time, leads me. And I think that I I got to realize that a lot of people also relate to God in that way, which makes a lot of sense to me, you know. And I was like, oh, okay, I understand. It makes sense, you know. It makes sense that this is what we feel as God, and the universe is God, you know, and everything is, you know, I've got my own theory. I don't know if you want to hear it, but
Sure.
so, all right. So I also worked as a nurse for like 5 years, 5 years and a half. And so, like, I studied a little bit about physiology and anatomy, and I got to be in hospital and like see a bit how humans behave in with sicknesses and stuff like that. And it was very like very insightful, to learn a bit more about all these type of things. And imagine you and your immune system. So your immune system are like cells that are inside your body. What makes your body? Some cells are your immune system, and like you can normally you want your immune system to be strong, right?
Right.
So you will somehow by feeling this feeling of wanting to be strong, you are communicating to your body what you want, you know, and and uh, and perhaps, of course, you got to take some actions in order um, to for your immune system to be strong. But you can communicate to your body, and so I believe we are cells of the universe. So me and you and everything else is like different organisms just for the universe, though, or maybe don't even look at the universe, you can just look at the earth, you know, just at the earth and think like, oh, the plants, they have they do a certain action and we do other actions. Same as maybe in our body, every single organism do their own job. And
Right.
the same way you kind of like communicate to the cells inside of you, perhaps whatever big, whatever bigger thing is out there, it's kind of like communicating to you.
Right.
And so
Yeah. That
maybe
makes
that's
total
the
sense.
way the communication works between you and whatever speaks in your head.
Right.
But like you wouldn't tell a red blood cell it's got the job of transporting oxygen, right? And that's its job. You don't want to tell a red blood cell, oh, you're inside the body and there's a city outside. Like the red blood cells just need to stay on that job. You don't want it to get lost. And perhaps that's maybe a similarity to why we cannot really know everything,
Right.
it's because we gotta like stay on track and kind of like keep doing our job.
We know about the things within our scope.
Yeah,
If we
yeah,
were to know, if we were to be aware of
yeah,
everything, like our brain couldn't handle it.
yeah,
So we're only
Ma-
aware of the things that are relative to,
yeah,
to being a human on planet Earth.
yeah. And maybe you don't, maybe just living and experiencing is the goal,
Right.
So you don't have to really look for something else because otherwise you'll lose the point,
Right.
and that's why. I don't know. This is a theory, It just made sense for me from the point of view of, do you know, like a matryoshka?
No, what did you just say?
Matryoshka is like those, I don't know if it's Russian, but those little statues where there's like you open it and there's another statue, and then you open it and there's
Oh,
another
like the
statue.
Russian dolls.
Yeah, Russian dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's a bit the theory I applied, like,
No, it makes total sense. Like, yeah, the analogy of the cells in our body, because those cells are not aware that they're in our body. They're just living
yeah,
their life. They're performing their function,
yeah,
and you extrapolate it out, and we're like, there's billions of us on this little planet. We think that we're individuals, right?
yeah.
But ultimately, we're all as part of the a grand whole,
We're
and,
definitely
and
part
the
of the
Earth,
earth.
even the
The
Earth
earth,
is, sorry, what?
we are definitely all part of the earth.
Right, right.
That's
And then the
without
Earth,
any doubt.
right, and
It's
then the Earth is
uh,
just a very small piece of the universe.
yeah, and that's as far as we can see, and then if you, I don't know, my point so far is that if you keep looking so far, maybe you lose the point of like what you got to do here.
Right.
But who knows? I don't know. Maybe some
We
people like
are we are an interesting case in that like we there is something in humans that really looks to big places, and we really try to invent new things, and we try to discover new things. Like we are a very intelligent um example of life,
yeah,
which we should be grateful for. But who knows? There may be much more intelligent versions
yeah,
of us. But it's interesting that like we started this conversation, you were talking about how you were making some bad decisions, right? And you found skating, and then you were able to make healthier decisions based on skating. And
yeah,
it's
for
almost
sure.
like with the God conversation. I think I fully agree with where what you were talking about, how God is like a part of us. It's a part of everything. I think
Yeah,
we can listen. It does communicate with us, and it does tell us
yeah,
the right ways to do things. But
yeah,
sometimes it can be difficult to hear those messages because we also hear advertisements
yeah,
for alcohol, for
yeah,
cigarettes, like whatever it is.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
think like I'm not against those things, but they can pull us from who we're supposed to be,
yeah,
right? And I
yeah.
think God wants us to be a certain thing. Like God wants Nicola Torelli to be a very healthy rollerblader.
I think it's in its interest, you know. You wouldn't want your
Right.
blood, like, you know. I'll tell you another story, right? So I got these tattoos some years ago, because I got a tattoo here when I was like maybe 20, and it was the word beyond, because it was inspired from Nietzsche, which says like you always have to go beyond and look beyond. I don't know if that beyond is the right translation. I wrote it in Italian, which
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of it's a good translation. Um, but after I did it, I felt weird. I was like, shit, I can't take this off anymore. You know, I felt like wrong, you know? And I was like, all right, it's cool because it's got a meaning and I'll carry it with me and it'll be very important. Like I think it's an important thing to carry with me. So, you know, I don't regret it. But I felt like fucking like wrong, you know, after I did it. I felt like shit, I can't what did I
Can't take it
do?
off.
Yeah, what did I do, you know? And then I said like, all right, I don't want any more tattoos. And then I kept going until like some years ago, I just got into this moment of thinking like, oh, well, the body is just, you know, we're not here forever.
Right.
You know, like same way as clothes, you know, like you know, you can have a break and then you can repair it. You just keep going. You know, it doesn't mean like you're wasting it, but in the end, this is not gonna be here forever. So even if you kind of like use it or whatever,
Right.
it's meant to be used, you know. And so this thinking this made me feel like, oh, you know what, I'll get some tattoos of stuff that is meaningful for me, because I think I like art, like I like the I like tattoos. And so I got tattoos until so I got like in a year or two I got quite a few tattoos on my arms
Yeah.
and one on my leg. And until then I got into this more into this thinking of, you know, the cells and we are cells and all these this concept I just showed you. And I was like, fucking hell, man. Like imagine I was a skin cell and suddenly it starts raining ink and I cannot take it off my face.
Right.
Would I be happy? I'd be like, fuck, hell no, I wouldn't be happy, you know? Like, I mean, I would keep going, you know, because I would, you know, I can keep going with some ink in my face that I cannot wash off. But if I could choose to have it or not, fuck, why would I choose to fucking make rain ink all of a sudden? Because I don't have anything to do with. It's not gonna make my life better, you know.
Right.
And I
Right.
was like, oh shit, that's how my cells. are feeling, you know, like they have the function of doing their job and all that, and all of a sudden I'm going like bam, just blasting them with ink.
Ink.
After that, I was like, I don't want any more tattoos, but at least I understand. I don't know. It was in a way that it made sense, you know. And funny enough, some months ago, I was skating, and this guy comes to me, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm a tattoo artist, and I'm doing video interviews to people in the street. I see you got some nice tattoos. Can I do an interview to you?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, whatever." So he's like, he's like, "Oh, you got some nice tattoos. Where you do them, this and that. Do you have any other tattoo you're thinking about to do?" And so I explained him this concept. He was looking at me like, "What the fuck?" This. So I don't think that interview is ever gonna see the light of the internet, but it was funny. Like I was he was looking at at me like, "Fuck." Maybe it
Well,
made
he
him
was looking for some like inspirational tattoo content, and you're just like shitting on the idea of tattoos,
yeah, question his
crushing
whole
his dreams.
his dreams.
It's like this
Uh,
is my whole business, dude. You're
yeah.
going against my industry.
Yeah, it's funny, but yeah, that's um. How did we get to the tattoos?
Ah, God.
From God.
God wanting us to do certain things.
Healthy choices.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so yeah, that's one.
I do think there's a higher self in us that knows what the best decisions are. And it doesn't always make sense to others, and it conflicts with desires that we have, or like, seeking stress relief or short-term
Mhm.
enjoyment, or like there's a ton of voices in us, right? A lot of it is from
Yeah,
influence from television or whatever that tells
yeah.
us we should do a certain thing, or we should do something that makes us a lot of money, or we should dress a certain way, or we should whatever it is. But
Fear and comfort are two.
fear, yeah,
uh, Comfort as well, because
comfort, yeah, seeking, like,
the
seeking comfort.
body wants comfort, but
Right,
the mind wants challenge. Like
right,
the body
exactly.
is always looking for comfort, but then the mind is looking for challenges, and like there's this kind of like conflict, and you
And
know,
there's physical laws, right? That we need stress. We
yeah,
need physical stress to
yeah,
grow, to get stronger. We
yeah,
need
yeah, for sure.
psychological stress to learn from. But there's a part of our brain that like, oh no, it's uncomfortable. I'll just stay
Yeah,
where I am. Like, I don't want
yeah,
to push it. But
yeah,
like at the back of your head, you know the things you need to do,
yeah,
right? Even if
yeah,
it's like the difficult decision.
yeah. Even if the voice is like, and you cannot hear it, but it's still
Right.
speaking back then, you know. Like maybe there's a million other voices on top that, but yeah, that voice is always there, and like I love how many times the answer has always been under your nose, you know.
Right, right. It's so
Like
obvious once
it
you
was
just
all like,
accept it.
yeah, you were looking, going all around the world to
Yep.
fucking
Yep.
look for that answer, and most of the times it's like you always knew
Yep.
it was there, and I see this with my shoulder, you know, where I'm like, oh, I maybe need to do this or maybe need to do that, and then sometimes I'm like, it's the most simple fucking action, and
Right.
it usually ties to the things your dreams, you know. I don't know, sometimes I feel like what you are passionate or what you would love to do is also because that's your cure, you know, like that's
Right.
what you need for your good. um
It helps you
and
tap into who you really are.
yeah, what, like
Knowing.
when people say what you're meant to be is because like, well, that's, you know, everybody's got different experiences and everybody's got missing pieces or whatever that kind of like they seek for because that's what
Right.
they need, and everybody needs something different, you know, whatever can be similar sometimes, but you know, um I this I find this, that's why like this is my screenshot, my screensaver from long time. It says the magic you are looking for is in the work you are avoiding.
Ooh,
And yeah, it's I always try to keep it there just to to remember, that
I like
it's
that.
like yeah, it's I don't know what so a lot of people are like, oh, do you like this cartoon or this anime? I don't even know
And
what
what is
this is.
yeah, is it like a guy, is he like shadow boxing or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh.
But
And
I
then there's
forget.
another kid like in a field, like what's the kid doing?
I have no idea. I never really looked at it that much, to be fair. I just took it
Just
as
like the
like
word.
nice colors. The guy is like ready to fight, and it says the magic you're looking for is in the work you're about. I was like, all right, just put it there. It felt right,
Right. I like that.
and yeah, like for example, since COVID, I tried to do cold showers every day,
Yeah,
and
I
and
love
that's like
doing that. Yeah.
that's something very uncomfortable.
It's a
That
great way to wake up.
yeah, and like
And it's something you don't want to do.
you don't want to.
But
Sometimes I'm
you
like,
but it'll improve the rest of your day.
yeah. But so many times I'm like in front of the shower looking at it, and I'm like, shit, I don't want to get in.
Yeah.
But then I just like get in, and then it gets better, like
Right.
especially if you don't think about it. Uh, yeah, you can just stay there.
It's interesting that there's things you can do that are uncomfortable and then they make you feel better long term. And there's
hmm,
things you can do that feel really good for a short period of time and then they make you feel shitty
hmm.
for a period of
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Huh.
It's the way. I was looking into this recently. I think it's the way dopamine works, and there's actions that have quick release of a lot of amount of dopamine, and so they make you peak, and
Right.
they make you feel great in that moment.
Yeah.
But then, as they pick up, unless you continue to feed that level, it will pick down as much as
Right.
it picked up, you
Even
know.
lower than where you started in the
So
first
now
place.
you feel shit. Where if you do stuff, for example, that is initially uncomfortable, but as a reward after, for example, like a cold shower,
Yeah.
that you first go down and then you slowly get up, and
And you
it's
get
not.
higher than you were initially.
Yeah, and as well the way this guy was putting in a graphic, he was saying like all these type of actions, they don't spike as much, but they're a bit more they keep a bit more of a normal flow that keeps you a bit more in balance. But
Right.
if you indulge into like, I don't know, scrolling
Right.
or eating sugars or whatever type of high dopamine activity you do, then it's you get into this pattern where you just spike, and then unless
Then you
you
gotta keep
feel,
going back and
yeah, and then you saying
you
like what
want
happened.
you end up wanting the thing more because you're training your mind that that's the way to get that
Yeah,
dopamine hit.
yeah, exactly. And plus there is like this moment where you have too much dopamine, and so you have way too much for what your body can process, and you keep like getting there, but now you don't get that much dopamine anymore. So
Right.
you're like,
It's like
I found
overload.
myself a lot of times with scrolling, like it
Right.
happened that I may be scrolling on Instagram, and then I scroll on Vinted. I look for clothes, and then I because I don't like to scroll much on Instagram. I told myself, so I scroll for clothes, and I go and I go for like clothes, and then I scroll, and then my brain gets like wired into finding whatever type of action I can do from my phone to kind of like get some dopamine, but it doesn't feel as good anymore. But
Right.
I keep just going, and it's like, and then after I'm like, oh shit, fucking hours went by, and now I feel shit,
Right.
and I haven't done anything, and thank God it doesn't happen that much anymore. But it definitely still happens sometimes, and I'm way more conscious. I can see it, and I'm like, right,
Right. You can
it's
kind of
like,
see where it's going.
yeah, and I'm like, at least I understand it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of, I think the first step is to understand it,
Oh, for sure.
and then once you understand it, you're like, uh-huh,
Right.
that's not good for me. I'm not.
You know not to go down that path.
Yeah, same way with the weed, like so many years of like just kept going back, weed and cigarettes as well, going back into the pattern, and then wanting to get out and then falling back in, and then like feeling guilty, like, oh, why the fuck did I do it? And I feel like at the beginning it was just because I didn't understand it, I never really questioned why do I really do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the moment I started doing that is the moment I started getting out. And until it became easy, so right now I never really crave them. Where before, every time I stopped, I was like, oh, I'd love to be able to do it, because I was forcing
Think about
myself
it. Yeah.
to not doing it rather than just making I don't know, just using
Like that's it. Right.
rationality to just don't do it, like now if I see somebody smoking, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't need that. I don't want that because, I mean,
You
don't get me
know,
wrong. I had a very uh, addicted relationship where I know that some people might be able to smoke and not get addicted, So I don't want to be an advocate of like, oh, you don't have to do it. Like I feel like people, that if it's there, but it's because it might have to be explored by someone. um but yeah, it's I think the problem is the addiction, and the incapacity to control yourself,
definitely.
because if I have a glass of wine, I can control it so easily, like alcohol for me,
It
it's like
doesn't pull you in.
no at all, like I'll have a glass of wine and I'm like, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
um But with the weed, it was always like, oh, if I ever get in, and the day after I'll wake up and smoke, and then smoke,
Gotta do
smoke.
that again. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and maybe it's because I started as so young. I was like 12, 13, and I didn't really understand, and I thought that was cool, and cool people were doing it. So I was like, oh, if people who are really famous and made a lot of money are doing it, then it's not that bad.
Right. Which for some people, it isn't that bad. Um, you got to make your own choices.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
And some of us know deep down inside like it's not good for us. Like I don't judge anyone who drinks or smokes, whatever. It's
Yeah,
up to
yeah, yeah,
you.
for sure.
You might be able to do that and it works.
Yeah,
For you. God bless. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not my decision to make.
yeah, for sure.
I can only I only know what I know is best for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, no,
Well,
no,
this
for
was
sure.
this was awesome, buddy. We've been
Oh,
going for
yes.
almost 3 hours.
Oh, really? Blue, man. Yeah, I completely lost it. How long have we
Okay.
been going?
I think like 2.5.
Wow.
Yeah, man. This was
Wow, good
great.
job, man. Yeah, same. Same. We
We
lost
did.
a bit the skating part for a bit, but
No, it's good. I think it's related.
yeah. Be cool to have another catch up at some point, maybe discuss some more recent stuff
Definitely.
of skating, because there's yeah, there's quite a few bits going on that I'll be interested to talk to you and know your perspective. Well, just this before closing is, what
Sure.
do you think about um, healthy? Well, do you think it can be healthy to have sort of like what's the word? Like battles between brands and like maybe I don't know if beef is the word, but like a bit of competition between brands and like just some bit of drama in the industry of skating. Do you think is health it can be healthy?
I think it can be healthy in terms of competition. I think competition can bring out good things in
Yeah.
the creation of products. Like it might help the product be better. If they're competing against other products, they want their product to be the best. That's a good
What
thing.
you were saying in your video, no? The last one you made about the brands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that was very I agree
Yeah.
with everything.
So definitely healthy in terms of the product being improved.
Uh-huh.
Um, I don't think it's healthy in terms of the relationships.
No, 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 I didn't
hate
mean it like
I
that.
hate relationship breakdown because of it.
Yeah, for
Because I
sure.
think that, like I said in that video, I think that like people are gonna last longer than brands.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
if your relationship with people gets fucked up because of their affiliation or them working for a certain brand, in 20 years when that brand doesn't exist and you've tarnished that relationship, you're probably gonna regret that.
Yeah, no, no,
So
absolutely. I agree. I meant a bit more like products or um
yeah,
um
yeah, it's healthy for the even variety
yeah.
of different like viewpoints and different perspectives of what you think is like the best piece of equipment or what you think is missing in the industry. Yeah,
I really like the way you know the aggressive culture is kind of like um there's a bit more of an opinion of people on like brands and teams and like I really like this. I think it keeps it a bit healthy and I mean as long as all people have respect of each other and they
right, right.
they know that in the end they all trying what they can, but I think it's fun when there's a bit of competition and um, I, I would like to see this a bit more also in the big wheels world,
Definitely.
where where like people express a bit more their opinion and there's a bit more of a conversation going on about the industry because I
It
think
would,
like
yeah.
it's silent.
That's an interesting thought. It might help bring in more participants. Like in aggressive, you have
Hmm.
brands that have a really strong image or a strong viewpoint, like Mesmer has a really
Hmm.
rocker kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It might attract like, the rocker, like dirtbag type of skater. And then you have
Hmm.
more like of a hip hop brand. Maybe them is a little bit more like hip hop. It'd be
Hmm.
dope in the big wheel world to have brands that are really have like a strong vision in what they think is like really cool, in terms of like dress and in terms of like the tricks and the personalities and the
Yeah.
general vibe. You don't really have that much in big wheeling because it's kind of a new thing that
Yeah.
big wheel is. I mean, big wheel is the original rollerblading, right? But
Yeah.
it's a new thing that big wheel is presenting itself the same way aggressive did with like tricks, videos,
Videos. Yeah.
uh, personalities.
Yeah.
That's relatively new. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I do hope there's even more variation in the brands, in the visions. Um, I really push against this idea that, you know, there should be fewer brands or you should support like this one brand or like you should only buy from the original creator of this
Oh
product.
yeah. Why
It's
would that
like
be?
it's like what's that?
Why? I don't know. What's the people who think that? Why do they think that it's good?
I on it, like I try to understand their viewpoint. I think the only rationale I can think of is that it reduces the power of those brands. It reduces the income and the what
Well,
they
but
can
so,
do for certain people. And it comes from those people thinking that they deserve the most credit, the most financial reward. Um, but ultimately, like it's and they might think that they have all the right answers, right? So
mm,
by creating all these other brands, you're just confusing people, and they are more likely to be led in the wrong direction, Nicola,
yeah,
because they feel their vision is so strong. But
because they are the voice.
I think they're just full of shit. Like
Yeah,
they
no,
they're not humble enough to realize that they may not have all of the answers, and everyone might not think they're as cool as they think they are. You know,
yeah,
so like
I
I
think
think
it's always nice if somebody comes and challenge you,
yeah,
and like you just gotta stand, you know.
yeah,
Like if you're not gonna stand the challenge, then it means you gotta get back to work.
right.
And
Or just understand the fact that, some people might really resonate with what you do.
yeah,
Some people might really resonate with someone else, with what
oh yeah,
someone
yeah,
else.
for sure, for sure.
And do you want them to just not be involved with rollerblading? It's better that they find something that turns them
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
right? Than have one option and oh, that doesn't work for me, so see you later.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I think is very cool, especially because right now nobody seems to have. You might have said that. You might have said this in the video, but so far, and nobody seemed to have cracked the code with
Right.
skating because it's not like the market is. There is a brand that is selling so well, and the market is dominated by like so.
Nobody's figured it out. Nobody knows
Yeah, yeah,
shit.
that's what you said. Exactly. So, well, people are welcome to join and maybe
And
they're
try.
gonna have and try because
Yeah.
um, I think for
I would
me, kids is always like um, it should be the focus of a good part, and I always ask myself if a kid would like to see what I do, and sometimes I'm like shit, I don't know, I even though I might not be the best example of a skater who can influence kids to skate. I like to push myself to that direction, because I think that's what everybody should do, like these this older blading thing. I I don't know. I think I don't want to judge people, but I would push people to think like, if you love this, just try to get it to the kids, and
sure.
try to push it to the kids because I see a lot of people, like a lot of older people going to skate because they think it's like low impact and an activity they can do and they can take back when they're older and stuff like that. But um, it creates this market of older people. And like when I don't know, maybe a kid goes into it, he might think like, oh, it's like, I don't know. I just see this situation and I'm like, I don't know. I feel like we should work around this and make it in a way where all these people still go and skate and do that. But I don't. But make sure that when kids come come look into the industry, they find something appealing and yeah, I think so far is getting better because in Brazil I see definitely more kids. Brazil has a lot of kids. Poland has a lot of kids. There's a lot of countries where there's a lot of like younger generations.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Is mainly maybe I'm not too sure about Europe and US seem to be like um, not many kids.
Yeah. North America, I don't think there's a lot of kids.
There is.
Very. What about Barcelona?
There's so in Barcelona they teach skating in a lot of schools. So they do like a after school where they teach skating. So that there's like a very big amount of people who have skates. But then a lot of these kids they don't really do it out in the street or they just like maybe do it at school as like an activity. But I don't see kids in the streets. I don't see very few, where I'm like, I would expect groups of teenagers or groups of like
Wow.
12, 13 just to, have their own thing and, just maybe build their own, like other sports, like scooters or, you see group of kids doing it for their group. I don't really see it with skating. So mm,
That would be amazing.
I think is like yeah, as an industry, we should all put some attention to that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, man, thank you for listening.
Thank you for hanging out for 3 hours. It's been awesome, dude.
Yeah, same.
You're the man.
You too.
We will do this again
Yeah, keep in touch as well.
for sure. Yeah, I wish you all the best with everything that you're doing. Lots of exciting stuff.
Same,
Got the pro
man.
skate,
Same.
got the frames,
And yeah, we
clothes
got
to
the
come,
yeah
pants.
clothes. We got the five wheels, the with the progressive rocker this time.
Nice.
So yeah,
Yeah,
what?
I meant to say I really love the frame, the Kaiser Edge.
Oh,
Um,
I'm glad.
of the lightness, great product. Looks really good.
Simple,
Yeah,
simple. And that the main point with that was like, oh, when you look at it and you put it on a skate, it should look good, It should,
yeah. It's a good looking frame.
yeah, it's just the lines and everything, like simple, but
Functional too. I mean, I like
yeah,
the thin walls, just really light, really solid. Just a
yeah.
great product.
Appreciate it, man.
All right.
Appreciate it. So
Well,
talk
enjoy the
soon.
rest of your night.
Thank you. You the rest of your day.
I
And
will.
say hello to Joy.
I will.
Ciao, man. Have a good one.
Peace, buddy.
Peace.